Hello all my beautiful little unicorns and welcome back to my channel. If this is indeed the first time that you're on my channel, my name is Vanessa Somuayina and I'm the founder of Bow Life Switzerland, the proud author of 3 best-selling tarot and oracle decks, and of course your favorite psychic here on YouTube. So all of my beautiful earth angels, if you've been feeling lost, anxious, or down, then this pick a card reading is the perfect space for you. In this highly personalizable, healing, as well as supportive tarot reading, we will be uncovering all of the divine information that you need to hear. And your personal psychic prediction and horoscope is so accurate because you get to put it together all by yourself. That's right, this interactive tarot reading contains 2 parts. Let me explain. Right after a little sip of chai tea and oat milk, you guys know this is my jam, especially for all you fellow singles out there. This is like a warm hug. Try it, trust me, you will not be disappointed. So in just a moment's time during the intro of this video, I will introduce you to these 4 groups that I have prepared for you. And what you're going to do is select one of these 4 groups in order to receive part 1 of your reading. And then things get even more personal and accurate as you get to pick your zodiac sign in order to receive part 2 of your prediction. And in order to access your zodiac sign for part 2, what you're going to do is scroll down into the description box or to the top of the comment section where I have pinned the corresponding timestamps for every sign of the zodiac, easily accessible through your mobile devices too. Click your zodiac sign's timestamp and you'll be fast forwarded to the second, even more intricate part of your pick a card tarot reading. Watching your sun sign is great. It will already give you information about everything that you need to hear. But if you've got more information on your birth chart, feel free to watch your moon sign as well as your rising sign, because there might just be some important messages within the rest of your birth chart that you would really benefit from hearing. Furthermore, if you feel comfortable and right at home in this peaceful space on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe to my channel to never miss another prediction. And of course, follow me on Instagram as well as TikTok, where I frequently post short and fun readings too. So let's get into it. The 4 groups that I have prepared for you today are as follows. Group number 1 corresponds to the Divine Feather Messenger Oracle as well as the Carnelian Crystal. Group number 2 corresponds to the White Numen Tarot as well as the Howlite Crystal. Group number 3 corresponds to the Sacred Destiny Oracle as well as the Jade Crystal. And group number 4 corresponds to the Tarot of the Divine as well as the Black Obsidian Crystal. But as already mentioned, the timestamps to all 4 of these groups as well as signs of the zodiac can be found below in the description box and pinned to the top of the comment section. Also, you guys, the highly anticipated restock of Celestine Crystal as well as Aqua Aura Points, they're finally here. Both of these beautiful crystals can be found on bowlife.com. They ship worldwide. We cleanse and quality control every single piece before it's shipped to your home. So make sure you add these to your collection before they sell out again. So I will now provide you with a little moment of privacy. Feel free to pause the video right here if you need a moment to make up your mind. And I'll be right back to guide you into your highly personalized predictions. So by now you've hopefully been able to select one of these 4 groups in order to receive part 1 of your prediction. I will be starting off with the first group, which corresponds to the Divine Feather Messenger Oracle and the Carnelian Crystal. So if this is the group that you chose, then please continue watching. And to all of my other gorgeous groups and signs of the zodiac, I will catch you at the click of your timestamp. Hello, group number 1. Welcome to the first part of your prediction. So you chose the Divine Feather Messenger Oracle in connectivity to the Carnelian Crystal. This is the beautiful carnelian. This is actually one of my favorite crystals because it brings a lot of energy. It brings life force to the table, and who doesn't like to have some high vibrations going on? So I believe we've got the canary here for you. So in the canary, you are being given the message to step forward now and to sing your song, no matter how different that is. There is power in finding your voice, group number 1. So a message that you need to hear is about speaking up. It's about not shying away and not feeling as though your message or your voice isn't worth hearing. If you've ever gone through a tough time in your life, or you've been in a relationship where you felt like you couldn't say how you felt or what you were going through, the canary encourages you to never feel as though it isn't worth speaking up. No matter whether the other person likes it or not, group number one, now is a time for you to learn to find your voice and to honor it, to not be afraid to say what it is that you need. I see here within the Lamb that you have a very childlike innocence to you, group number one. Maybe people often think that you're a lot younger than you are physically, but then when you start speaking, they're like, wow, you're such an old soul. But I do see here in the Lamb that you have a very innocent type of appearance, and I see that sometimes your communication style can be in line with that. It can be hard for you to speak up because you don't want to make people uncomfortable. You don't want to make people feel as though you're being pushy or you have a different opinion that ruffles feathers. But I see here within the golden egg that you are really someone very special. You're one in a million, my gorgeous souls of group number one. You are, so to say, the golden egg, okay? And we need to protect you at all costs because there aren't many people left on this earth who are so soft, who are so empathetic, compassionate, and caring. And maybe you are an empath by nature. You're someone who puts others before themselves very often, and that puts you in situations where maybe you've been kind to someone and then all of a sudden they take your kindness for weakness, or they take it for granted. All of a sudden your boss, your coworkers are piling tasks onto your desk that aren't yours to deal with, or you've got a lover who's kind of disrespecting you a little bit, friends who are making jokes that aren't really funny, that are at your expense. And that is when you need to speak up and let people know that you are kind, you are an empath, but you're not going to take any disrespect. I see here within the oyster that you've got such a soft nature to you on the inside, and before you speak, before you make a connection with people, sometimes it seems as though you're hard to get to, okay? So maybe people have said to you, group number one, that you've got a resting bee face, if you know what I mean. Maybe your best friend or your partner can testify that before they spoke to you for the very first time, they thought that you would be mean, or they thought that you would be someone who would kind of shoot them down or reject them. That's one thing that I see in the oyster. But once people get to know you, they really get to experience what an empath you are, how compassionate that you are as a human being. I see here within the bat that a lot of your creativity comes to life at night as well. So try to schedule some creative tasks during the evening hours. I see that full moons are especially great for you. And group one, leave a little bat emoji below in the comment section to let me and others know that you chose group number one for part one of your prediction and that you're here, you're still listening. So here within the bat, I definitely see that you're the type of person who comes up with a lot of things when the lights are low, when you feel comfortable, when you feel cozy, and you're also the type of person who likes to spread their wings and fly, so to say, and try out different things. You're not fearful when it comes to creativity. And I see here, group number one, that you're also a very humble person. You need to hear that because sometimes you want to ask for something that isn't actually much. Even in romantic relationships, you don't ask for much, but sometimes it can feel like a lot when you're hanging out with the wrong people, or when you're hanging out with people who make you feel as though the bare minimum is like you asking for the world when it's really not. Don't fall into those tricks, group number one. There are people who are expert manipulators and experts at gaslighting out here. Try not to succumb to those relationships because you are in actuality a very humble individual. Next up, we've got I do the best I can. Remind yourself of this, group number one. What you need to hear is that as long as you're doing the best that you can, give yourself a pat on the shoulder, clap for yourself. I'm going to talk about clapping for yourself in an upcoming video as well. So do know here within doing the best that you can that that's really all you can expect from yourself. And you shouldn't always try to push yourself more and beyond limits that aren't healthy. You need to take care of your mental and your physical health, and doing the best that you can doesn't mean compromising that. It doesn't mean getting up in the morning, not even brushing your teeth, not even drinking water, not even moving your body or stretching for 5 minutes and getting straight to your laptop and working. No, that isn't doing the best you can, that is actually harmful to yourself, okay? That shows a lack of respect for yourself. Doing the best that you can means honoring you while also honoring your commitments and keeping yourself healthy for the long run so you can give your work, the people you love, children, pets, the best version of yourself rather than just what's left of you once you're all empty. You have to fill up your cup. I see here within communication that this is something we have to work on, group number one. This is something you needed to hear. And it's not to call you out, group one. Never feel as though that's what we're doing here on this channel. We're just chatting like two squirrel friends. We're just chatting like besties, like I'm your big sis. And I'm just telling you here that you can communicate a little bit more openly. You can be a bit more decisive. You can say what you want. It doesn't take away from how humble you are. It doesn't make you someone who is asking for too much, and it also doesn't make you a burden. If anyone makes you feel that way, don't question whether you're asking for too much, because you're not. Question why they feel a threat as soon as you ask for something super simple. Ask yourself why their emotions go to this place of defensiveness. I see here within the cucumber for you, group number one, that it's important for you to only deal with people who are emotionally stable and who are not manipulative, emotionally speaking. That is so important for you, okay? Because group one, you're the type of person who self-reflects, and not everybody does that. And sometimes you self-reflect a little too much, and then you start to ask yourself whether the things that you feel are valid, whether your emotions are too over the top. You start to question yourself, and that's something we need to get away from. This is something you have to hear within your reading, because also ruminating, thinking about how you could have handled things better, or whether you're asking too much, whether you're pushing someone beyond their limit, all of that costs a lot of precious time and energy that you really don't need to give to this situation, because group number one, having standards is okay. It's actually not just okay, it is necessary. And this is something that you have to hear. This is something that your guides are trying to communicate to you. Having standards is healthy because it puts you in relationships and connections with people who are good to you, not people who want you to compromise your standards and undermine yourself just to make them happy. The perfect situation, the perfect relationships for you to have in your life are relationships where people do not have any issue with you putting yourself first, because they know that in the long run that will serve everybody, and they care about you and love you. That's why they would want you to put yourself first. Next up, we've got goal setting. So something that you must hear, group number one, is to set goals and actually write them down. Did you know that people are far more likely to succeed and reach goals when they're actually written down physically? Did you know that, group number one? It is actually scientifically proven. So make sure that you write your goals down and remind yourself here that the ship has already sailed for certain things to come true, but that doesn't mean that there aren't better situations out there. So if you had goals of completing specific tasks, but the time has come and gone and you quote unquote feel like you failed, know that that is the past. You cannot change the past, but there is never a moment where it's too late for you to do better in the future. It's never too late to be successful. It's never too late to start your YouTube channel, to start your own business, to find that perfect lover, husband, wife, to start your family, to adopt children or pets. You can do it at any point, at any age, okay? Because with today's different types of technologies and today's world, anything is possible. Bear in mind that some of the most successful people, they failed so many times, so many ships have sailed for them until they actually found their success and their happiness. So never feel as though anything is too late for you, group number one. That is something that you need to hear. So now what I'd like you to do is scroll down into the description box, click your zodiac sign, and you'll be fast forwarded to the even more personalized and accurate second part of your prediction, which is horoscope based, because it's based on your zodiac sign, where you can receive the rest of the messages that you need to hear, group number one. So I'll catch you at the click of your timestamp. Hello, group number 2, and welcome to part 1 of your prediction. Now, you chose the White Numen Tarot as well as the Howlite Crystal. Now, the Howlite Crystal is a very calming type of crystal. It centers you, it grounds you, so that may be why you felt drawn to this crystal, but maybe you also just liked its appearance. Now, let's get into your prediction so we can figure out everything that you need to hear. All right, so group number 2, first up, we've got the Queen of Cups. Now, the Queen of Cups represents the Queen of water signs and all of the energy that comes with that. Whether you identify as a water sign, meaning a Cancerian, Scorpio, or Pisces, or you are a completely different sign, that doesn't matter. What you need to hear within the Queen of Cups is to nurture yourself, to learn to remother yourself, especially if you've had a difficult time with mother figures within your life up until this point. So maybe you've had differences with your mother or with someone who took on a motherly role. Maybe it's your grandmother. I want you to know here in the Queen of Cups that sometimes when you're not getting what you need from a parent or even from friends, from female friends, you have to learn to give that to yourself. You can't wait for someone to come and save you. I see here within the King of Swords that what you need to hear is that you're strong, group number 2. You are intelligent. You are someone that a lot of people can be intimidated by. And because of that, there can often be friction. And that's not because you are initiating it or because you are telling anyone that you're better than them or smarter than them or more accomplished than them. You just have this presence, this energy that intimidates people without you even opening your mouth and saying a word. And they can often get defensive or even jump to attacking you or talking about you behind your back without you even knowing, group number 2. Now, if you're more of a loner and more of an introvert, then this is normal to you. Then it's been like this your whole life. But this is what you need to hear. This is an explanation that may make you realize and reconsider how you feel about being someone who does a lot of things by themselves or who doesn't have a huge squad or friend circle. It's actually a real blessing for you because a lot of people cannot live up to your energy and your standards. And that's why it's best for you to keep your circle small at times. Next up, we've got the Ace of Pentacles. So group 2, what you need to hear right now is that now is a great time for you to start a new business venture and for you to create an additional stream of revenue. So think to yourself, starting something that is fun, a side business, maybe it's an Etsy store, maybe it's a podcast, maybe you love to cook or bake and this is just something you want to pursue more. Maybe you like to make music or to create art. Know here in the Ace of Pentacles that at the time of you receiving your reading, it is a great moment for you to just jump into the unknown and try something completely new when it comes to business and your professional life. Next up, we've got the White Numen. There is so much opportunity surrounding you that you're not even aware of, group number 2, and you've also got so much potential that has remained untapped until this time. And by untapped, I mean you're not fully using your mind and also your body to the point that you could, okay? I definitely see that there is a huge part of you that can still do more when it comes to learning, when it comes to executing, also pushing your body by working out. Maybe you're not even working out right now at all, group number 2, and this is not to call you out. This is just to make you aware of the fact that the more you push yourself to the limit in a healthy way, the more you will actually find that you become inspired to try new things, and the more fulfilled and satisfied you feel with your experience of life, because you're not growing old because you're rusty. You're growing old because you're worn. Next up, we've got the Moon for you. Now, group 2, within the Moon, I can see that following your intuition, that is something that you have to hear right now. And if you're with me, group number 2, and you want to let me and everyone know that you're here within this reading, leave a little fox emoji below in the comment section to represent group number 2, and that you vow to listen to your intuition more, to not just say, oh, well, you know, it's a gut feeling. How much validity does it really have? Well, group 2, it holds a lot of validity, but in today's day and age, I think we are so focused on technology and on facts and on science, which continuously changes, right? Even scientific facts that are true today may have been completely false 100 years ago, but still we hold on to those things as if they will be set in stone forever. One thing about your intuition is that it has been used for thousands of years by your ancestors to help guide them, to help find safety, shelter, avoid danger as well. So listening to it is not anything to be ashamed of. Don't overthink it. Don't question yourself. If your gut feeling is telling you to move forward, move forward. If your gut feeling is telling you someone's cheating on you, they're most likely not being honest with you. And if your gut feeling is telling you that you can get more out of life, you know for a fact that that is true. Next up, we've got the orange for you, group number 2. Now in the orange, I can see here that you're being called to take charge of your energy and also to add some vitamins into your diet if you feel as though it's been lacking, if you feel as though your diet has consisted of a lot of white wheat-based types of things. Group number 2, you know it's time to get some of that vitamin C, some of those citrus fruits, and of course other leafy greens, just healthy vitamins and minerals to optimize your energy levels. I see here within the beetroot that one of the reasons why you're being called to do this is because there is some passion that's coming into your life. So maybe sensually and romantically, physically with another person, you know, you want to be on your A game, group number 2, but it could also just be that for this passion project that you're jumping into the unknown for, right, where you're kind of taking the leap of faith with an extra business idea, you will need a little bit of extra energy, of course, to funnel into that. So make sure that you're doing that by optimizing your health. I see here within the daffodil that it's important for you to also never lose hope, okay? And this is something I can so vouch for, especially being a YouTuber and entrepreneur. You cannot lose hope. You cannot lose that confidence in yourself and in your vision. And remind yourself here that whether you succeed or whether you fail is 100% dependent on you. And you will fail your way to success, group number 2. There is no other way to get there. You will fail more times than you will succeed. But the secret is to not stay down when life kicks you down. The secret is to get back up when you fail. The secret is to continue going, continue trying, continue adjusting, and never feeling as though it is too late or it's time for you to give up. Next up, we've got the 2 of Swords. It is important that you consciously make the choice to go for your goals and to be there pursuing your dreams every single day, okay? No matter whether other people see the vision or not, it doesn't matter, group number 2. The vision was given to you, not them. If you can see here that you would be happier pursuing your own business or even being in a relationship with someone that your family and friends don't approve of, but they really treat you well, you really feel within your heart that this is where you want to be, pursue it, group number 2, because at the end of the day, this is your choice. This is your life. Don't take advice from anyone who isn't where you're trying to go when it comes to these big decisions, because you will regret it. You will feel resentment towards those people. So don't even let it get to that point. Don't even give other people that type of control over your emotions. Next up, we've got the Sun for you, group number 2, which is actually one of the most favorable cards of the tarot, and it turns your whole reading into one that is more positive, more lighthearted, that is just overall foreshadowing a really great future. And this is something that you need to hear. You need to hear that you've got more power when it comes to where you're going in life than you actually realize, and that life is happening for you, not to you. Especially in difficult times, ask yourself what life is trying to teach you and how life is trying to redirect you. And I hold purity in high esteem. I can see here that one thing that you need to hear is that not many people are as honest as you are. Not many people are as aligned spiritually and emotionally. And this is definitely something you just need to give yourself credit for, group number 2. You don't do it often enough. Give yourself a little pat on the back right now. Actually do it, group number number 2. I want to hear the patting. Okay, I hope you can hear me patting on my shoulder and on my back right now. I'm doing it. Do it with me, group number 2. You don't give yourself enough credit. Next up, we've got I honor animals with reverence. So you are meant to hear that you are a fierce protector and that it's also okay for you to take some time off. Okay, you are the type of person who most likely also just gets along with animals better than they get along with people sometimes. Totally feel you, group number 2, because at least with animals, you know what you're dealing with. With people, it's just always some uncertainties, some unknowns, some misinformation, some lies, you know what I mean. So feel free to spend more time with animals than you do with humans, group number 2. That is something that you need to hear because that can just be the type of therapy that you need at any given point. But now, group number 2, we have received part 1 of your prediction. What we're going to do is scroll down into the description box or to the top of the comment section, click our zodiac sign, and we'll be fast forwarded to part 2 of our highly personalized prediction about everything that we need to hear. So I'll catch you during the second part of your reading. Hello, group number 3, and welcome to your prediction. Now, you chose the Sacred Destiny Oracle in connectivity to the Jade Crystal. This is the beautiful jade. This is a stone that in so many different cultures represents good luck, good fortune, as well as material wealth and prosperity. That may be why you felt drawn to the stone, but maybe you also just loved its stunning physical appearance. Now, let's figure out everything that you need to hear, group number 3, shall we? First up, we've got simplicity. Group 3, keep it simple. There are some areas of your life that you are overcomplicating. So maybe you're overthinking when it comes to a romantic relationship, or you're overthinking about your job, your career, as well as your education. Ask yourself whether this feels right or not, whether this is going to lead you to the greater goal or not, and then base your decision off of that. If, for example, you know that you want to become a doctor, you have to study medicine. There's no a way around it. If you know that you want to start your own business, you will have to take a leap of faith. You will have to try. You will have to put yourself out there. If you know that what you want is a relationship with someone who's emotionally available, you will have to let go of anyone who's playing the hot and cold game with you. You have to let go of anyone who's maybe married in another relationship who doesn't know how to stay faithful. Keep it super simple, group number 3. Next up, we've got solitude. I definitely see here that in order to gain clarity about the areas of your life that are a little bit more complicated than they need to be, solitude is your best friend. Also meditation, group number 3. Know here within solitude and simplicity that when you're by yourself and you're not constantly hearing chatter from other people in the outside world, that's when you can really focus on making sure that all of the areas in your life are simplified in a way that they serve you. Also work, for example. Don't work yourself to the bone if you don't need to. You have to protect yourself. That is something that you have to hear, group number 3, especially if you are a very selfless person, if you're an empath, if you're a giver, if you're surrounded by takers who don't know when to stop taking. You need to learn to just simply say no. You need to learn to retreat, to be by yourself in some instances, even if that means distancing yourself from coworkers, for example, because you have to protect yourself. You cannot constantly pour out energy into bottomless cups. Okay, you have to fill your cup first, group number 3, and then you can see what you can do for others. But we're definitely not pouring into bottomless cups anymore. That is for sure. Next up, let's see what Spirit has for you, group 3. We've got I communicate with compassion. Yes, if there is a relationship or even several relationships in your life that feel draining or that feel very one-sided, just communicate that compassionately. You don't have to say it with too much emotion or volatility. You don't have to say it with anger, with sadness, with, a choked up kind of voice. Just compassionately say like, hey, I really like this connection that we have. I really value you as a person, but I just kind of feel as though this connection is out of balance. I don't feel as though my needs are being met. Again, you have to protect yourself and your heart and your energy, group number 3. Next up, we've got I speak with sincerity. Wow, the universe and your guides, your angels, it's really just all calling you out today, group number 3. be sincere, be open, say what's on your mind. Don't hold everything in and hold everything back. That is really unhealthy, and that's most likely also going to clog up your throat chakra in the long term, which may even lead to physical ailment as well. So if you constantly have a sore throat or you struggle just overall with your voice, I want you to know, group number 3, that that may be a physical symptom of you not getting these emotions and feelings out, of you not permitting for yourself to speak with sincerity and to communicate with compassion, even when that means that you may ruffle some feathers. Next up, we've got the banana. Now, group 3, I see here in the banana that you're being reminded that life is all about duality. It's all about giving and taking. It's about one hand washing the other. And it's also about darkness and light, understanding that one cannot exist without the other. So the next time you're going through a tough time, group number 3, something that you need to hear right now is that it's only a tough time because good times exist. If tough times didn't exist, if heartbreak didn't exist, if betrayal didn't exist, we wouldn't know what good times were. We wouldn't know what it would be like to be in love. We wouldn't know what it would be like to be able to trust fully 100% and to be happy, right? So life is all about the different emotions and the spectrum of emotions, and it's important that you honor each side, because one needs to exist in order for the other one to be able to be experienced as well. Next up, we've got the cauliflower for you, group 3. And the cauliflower, I can see that you're going through a very transitional period in your life. We're going to figure out more details about that. We've got the little Cancerian symbol right here. And this shows me that this transition is one that's going to be very emotional for you. We also have the cauliflower that is connected to the master number 11, which shows us that this is a transition and a change that you've initiated, because master number 11 is a number of initiation, of starting something new and of being a leader. And I see here within the peppermint that actually this transition and this new direction is meant to lead you and bring you to success, group number 3. So you're most likely going to realize that something just isn't working in your life, and you know that you have to be the one that grabs the steering wheel and redirects yourself into a direction that is actually leading towards success, that's actually steering you towards a place where you'd like to go. So let's see what this transition is all about, group number 3. Let's see what you need to hear about this. So we've got the spirit bear. In the spirit bear, I can see here that why there's this transition is because you're connecting to your lineage and your ancestors. You're connecting to your heritage and where you came from. So if you have native roots, if you have roots from a background where there was a lot of pain, there was a lot of hurt, and your ancestors had to go through a lot. Maybe your parents and grandparents also grew up with a lot of poverty, with a lot of violence, domestically speaking, maybe mentally speaking. I definitely see here in the spirit bear that you're the one who is meant to transition from continuing that pattern to breaking it, to actually creating success in a way that future generations do not need to continue reliving the pain of your ancestors and even of your parents. Next up, we've got the waterfall of white light. I want you to know here that the more you deal with these difficult emotions and also generational patterns and generational hurts, the more you will actually find that in the end, it brings you closer together to family members as well. At first, they may be very defensive when you bring these things up and how you feel like they need to be fixed and changed and how you'd like to work on them, but do know that they will come around and they will understand that it's for the better. And you're most likely going to touch their hearts in a way that actually makes them shed a few tears, because they think to themselves, I've been feeling this way the whole time. I'm so happy that they brought this up. I'm so happy that they're bringing this to light, because I felt like I had nobody to talk to when it comes to that. That is one thing that I see with the waterfalls of white light. I see a lot of happy tears, a lot of understanding bonding, a lot of emotional connecting with family. Now, the Four of Wands shows me that something that you have to hear is to ensure that you build a steady foundation for yourself moving forward. So diversifying, for example, how you spend and invest your money. Make sure you're investing in stocks, make sure you're investing in yourself, make sure you are saving up for real estate. The Four of Wands definitely shows me that you want to make sure that you are unshakable, that you're set up for tough times as well. As the Emperor is actually a card of planning ahead, of being a leader, of being someone who is in charge, group number 3. And also the Emperor actually corresponds to the number 4 in the tarot. And that's what we had here in the Four of Wands. We had that number 4 again, which is the number of stability, which is the number of creating a solid foundation for yourself so you can relax, so you don't have to feel worried. And this is also a symbol of leadership and logic. So you have to hear, it's so imperative that you create some sort of logical way of setting yourself up and creating a solid, stable foundation for yourself in order to ensure that in the long term you can relax, you are not emotionally volatile to what is going on in the markets, what is going on in the economy, because you have already kind of planned ahead and set yourself up. Now, group number 3, this is part 1 of your prediction that I received for you. If you made it to the end, leave a banana emoji in the comment section to let me and others know that you were here, that you received part 1 of your prediction. But now what I'd like for you to do is scroll down into the description box, click your zodiac sign, and you'll be fast forwarded to part 2 of your prediction about everything that you need to hear. It will be more detailed, it will be more fascinating, it will give you more insight and clarity. So group 3, I will catch you at the click of your zodiac signs timestamp. Hello, group number 4, and welcome to part 1 of your prediction about everything that you need to hear. So you chose the Tarot of the Divine with the Black Obsidian crystal. This is the gorgeous Black Obsidian. In case you know, this is a highly protective stone. It helps you get rid of any unwanted negative energies. So you may have intuitively felt drawn to this crystal because you just sensed that, but maybe you just also loved its external appearance because it is obviously a stunning stone. But now let's get into your reading and figure out everything that you must hear. Let's see what Spirit has to say. We've got the Knight of Wands as well as the Queen of Swords. First up, we've got some fire sign energy here to the left within the Knight of Wands. Think to yourself, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, and then we also have air sign energy. Think Libra, Aquarius, Gemini. If that resonates with your big 3 in your birth chart, do know here that you are being called to be a little more outgoing, group number 4, to not be afraid to say what it is that you desire. Here with the Queen of Swords, do so compassionately and kindly. And in the Knight of Wands, if you receive a no or a rejection, go for it anyway, group number 4. That is something you need to hear. So if, for example, when it comes to your business, you receive a rejection or many rejections, don't stop. The most successful people who you probably look up to as well, they have been rejected many times. They've been rejected more than they've been accepted. Remind yourself of that, group number 4. You only need for one breakthrough in order to make it big, in order for success to be yours. But in order to get there, you sometimes have to face a lot of rejection. The same goes for love. Remind yourself here that if you are being rejected or someone isn't giving you what you need, emotionally speaking, it's time for you to speak up. And if they can't deliver, move on to the next. Next up, we've got the Nine of Wands. Now, the Nine of Wands here does show me that there is some fear that you need to confront and deal with, group number 4, and you have to hear this. Your guides, your angels, the universe is kind of calling you out a little bit and reminding you of the fact that you are amazing, you are mesmerizing, you are beautiful, group number 4. And why you need to be reminded of this is that if you're hanging on to someone who you think is beautiful, smart, they have their life together, you wish the relationship would work out, but they're not treating you in a way that is really sustainable long term, don't feel as though they're the last man on this planet. They are not the last man, woman, person on this planet that you can find amazing or fall in love with. The same goes for job opportunities. Don't stay in a job you don't like because you are worried that nobody else will want you. You determine your value, and when you show up in this world not settling for less, not allowing for people to mistreat you, underpay you, and make you feel as though they're giving you the bare minimum. Trust me, group number 4, you will change your entire energetic vibration around yourself, and people will start to treat you differently. The world will start to treat you differently. Next up, we've got the Four of Cups. Don't overspend, group number 4. You are being called to save right now. So if you've been thinking of, participating in all these little upcoming sales, maybe Black Friday, Christmas, things like that, whatever it is, know here within the Four of Cups that it's so important for you to save your coins right now, group number 4. No matter what time of the year it is, no matter what season we're in, no matter what sale is on, the Four of Cups shows us here that it makes no sense for you to spend your money frivolously, because there is an upcoming bigger purchase that is more important to you than all of these little trinkets that you're spending money on here and there, but that in the end amounts to more than you're maybe aware of. Next up, we've got the Strength card. Group number 4, something that you need to hear is that you're stronger than you think you are, and your strength is an internal one. So if you're looking at your body or your arms right now and you think to yourself, yeah, right, Vanessa, I'm not strong, I'm scrawny, I barely work out, no. Group number 4, I want you to know that the Strength card in the tarot isn't about physical strength. It also isn't about just being someone who is closed off. The Strength card is all about that deep inner strength and patience that comes with self-control as well as compassion. So think to yourself, dealing with someone in your family or a lover who is just very emotional, volatile, who has maybe insulted you, lied to you, disrespected you, but you're not going to stoop to their level. You're showing that you're strong, you're compassionate, and you know that adding to that type of vibration isn't going to do anything. And at the end of the day, when someone goes low, you go high, as they say, and that is really the type of vibe that your guides want you to live for these next couple weeks and months, group number 4, because life will test you, but you will be so much prouder of yourself when you don't react and stoop to the same level as some of these individuals. Next up, we've got I follow my inner guidance. You're following your inner voice. And if your inner voice right now, group number 4, is calling you to get a snack, get a snack. If your inner voice is calling you to continue on with dating this person, even though there are uncertainties, keep dating them. If your inner guidance is telling you that it's time for you to quit your job, group number 4, it's time to hand in that letter of resignation. Follow that inner guidance. You had to hear it. Next up, we've got I remain in balance with my emotions. Remind yourself here to also kind of take responsibility for your emotions and to understand that if you don't have your emotions under control, if you have no kind of practice to keep them in balance, then you will always be dependent and kind of the victim of everyone else, okay? Then you will always be at the mercy of how life treats you, of what happens in life, how other people decide to treat you. So it's important that you learn to remain in balance with your emotions. A great thing to do in order to be able to balance your emotions is actually meditation, group number 4. And I know if you're new to meditation, it can be kind of daunting, it can be intimidating, it can be difficult to get started because you may also be someone who is a little bit competitive or a bit of a perfectionist. So you feel as though you're doing it wrong if your mind isn't completely blank the first time and you feel like that's how meditation should be, but there's no right or wrong in meditation. It's just all about calming your mind, calming your nervous system, calming the breath, and taking control back, bringing your awareness back. Next up, we've got the basil. So the basil here shows me that what you have to hear, group number 4, is to trust that life is happening for you, not to you, group number 4. Life is really 10% of what happens to you, 90% what you do with it. And I want you to know here within the onion that in order to feel protected and in order to be in a space where you can just trust and lean back and enjoy, it is also important for you to be disciplined, okay? Your inner strength has a lot to do with your discipline too, and the little patterns and habits that you create and form. Trust that in the long run, they will make a huge difference for you. And with like little habits, I mean, for example, drinking lots of water, listening to motivational content that uplifts you rather than looking at gossip things or drama. Also reminding yourself that every time you, for example, do a couple extra steps, you park extra far away in a parking lot so that you can walk and get a little bit more movement. All of those little habits are going to protect you in the long run, but you have to trust that you're doing the right thing. And by protecting you in the long run, I mean protecting your mental and physical health. Honestly, meditation, exercise, eating healthily, drinking enough water, all of these things can really prevent you from, for example, developing severe depression. It can help you from health issues, heart attacks, heart issues in general, just all, I mean, a whole array of health difficulties. So know that what is really important is what you do in the day to day. Once something occurs and there's an emergency, that usually accumulates over a long amount of time. And here within the carrot, you're being called, group number 4, to see that, to become very clear of how your habits are affecting your future. Leave a carrot emoji below in the comment section to let me and others know that you understand, and of course that you chose group number 4 for part 1 of your prediction. So the carrot brings clarity. It shows here that something you need to hear is also to read more about health, to inform yourself more about what's best for you, especially if you've been feeling exceptionally tired or your mental health has been kind of weird. Don't be afraid to run some tests. Go to your doctor, do a blood test. Maybe you're missing something that's really, really simple to substitute. Like group number 4, for example, I was feeling really tired and then I went and did a blood test at my doctor's and they found that I was really low in vitamin D, which is vitamin from the sun, group number 4. Don't even go there with your nasty thoughts, okay? Vitamin D is the vitamin that you only receive when you get enough sunlight. And it makes a lot of sense because I'm someone of a darker complexion living in a place like Switzerland where there isn't as much sun. So I have to supplement that, right? But it impacted how I felt. And what I did was I went and got clarity about why I felt that way. I went and got clarity so that I can protect my health and my longevity in the long run. And that is something that you need to hear and you're being urged to do. Do it now. Don't procrastinate it. Don't be afraid of what they may find. Don't already in your head make up this scenario of something being seriously wrong with you. Remind yourself that even if there was something that isn't a quick, easy fix, like in my example, the sooner you figure it out, the easier it will be for you to deal with it, the less damage that would have been done. But I do want you to know here within the peppermint, and it's just going to be a success. If there's something that has been bugging you, if there's something that hasn't been optimal, like if you've been feeling tired, like I have, for example, it will just be successful as in you will find fairly quickly why this is happening. Maybe you're low in vitamin B12, maybe it's iron, maybe it's vitamin D, like with me, group number 4. And no, we are not fixing that with a booty call. We are fixing that with appropriate supplements, group number 4. So that is one thing that I can see here that you need to hear. Let's see what other messages that we have before we move into the second, even more personalized part of your reading, which is based on your zodiac sign, group 4. So we've got manifesting magic. What you need to hear is that you can be a master manifester, but you have to believe in yourself, okay? And you also have to follow that inner guidance and know here that you aren't always meant to do what you're passionate about. Sometimes you're just meant to do what you're really good at, okay? Where your talent lies. Your passion is one thing, but your talent is something else. For example, I am passionate about fashion and makeup, but that's not really what I'm super talented at. That's not really what I'm good at or what my calling is. And remind yourself here that when you are working on what you're good at, you will immediately kind of know, okay, I'm maybe a bit above average when it comes to this. Like, for example, when I uploaded my very first tarot reading video, it was by far not any work to brag about, group number 4. I was very nervous about it, but people really took to it a lot more than any other videos that I had uploaded. And I was so afraid to publish it because I thought, well, I don't want people to think I'm weird or anything like that. But I realized that was something I was good at because people gave me the feedback that it really helped them, that it really resonated with them. And then I understood that this is the day that I plant the seed. It may not be perfect. It may right now just have like 50 views, but this is something that is helping people. This is something that is providing value in this world. And Remind yourself that the day you plant the seed is not the day that you will harvest the fruit. So you will have to plant, you will have to trust and believe that it's growing. Even when there's dirt over the seed, you will have to water it, you will have to tend to it, you will have to let time go by. But do trust and believe, group number 4, that that seed that you planted will grow into a beautiful tree and some amazing fruit that you will be able to benefit from. Now, group 4, this is part 1 of your prediction, which I hope that you enjoyed. We are now going to move into the second, even more personalized part of your reading. Scroll down into the description box or to the top of the comment section, click your zodiac sign, and I'll catch you during part 2 of your reading, which is based on your zodiac sign. Hello, all my beautiful Aries babies. Welcome to part 2 of your prediction. So let's talk all things Aries and figure out exactly what you need to hear as an Aries specific. Oh, wow. We have some cards that are speaking right at the start of your prediction. So we've got Oracle cards as well as time to decide. For all my beautiful Aries, I do see here that Oracle and Tarot cards can really support you in your decision making, especially if you feel as though your intuition is kind of shaky, or you have so much anxiety that it's hard for you to discern what is your gut feeling and what is just you being nervous. So I can definitely see here that making decisions should be done using cards. So feel free to check out my tarot and oracle cards on bowlife.com. There are, of course, so many other places where you can get decks from in order to support yourself. Maybe you already own some oracle cards. Use them when you first wake up in the morning in order to set yourself up to figure out what you want to focus on throughout the day. Just pull one card, and whatever that card focuses on in that area of life, try to put your focus on that for that specific day. And if you have a difficult decision that you need to deal with, feel free to come to my channel or to pull another card in order to receive clarity, as I see that your guides are giving you a lot of different little signals and symbols within tarot and oracle cards right now. Your spiritual teacher shows me here that when it comes to finding someone who can give you that extra little bit of support, don't be afraid to look into different types of spiritual practices and the leaders in it, whether it's meditation, whether it's, for example, chanting. There are so many spiritual teachers who are even on social media at this point, who have YouTube channels, who have Instagram accounts, who post so many little nuggets of information day in and day out that can teach you things in just little bite-sized portions, and that can support you continuously for free too. So what I did was I definitely unfollowed any of the accounts that made me anxious or made me feel like comparing myself, and instead I followed a lot of spiritual teachers and leaders that I connected with. Yoga is another thing that you need to hear, my gorgeous Aries babies. If you've got a lot of extra energy, pent up energy at the end of the day, know that yoga is a great way for you to kind of like get rid of that energy that is pent up. Furthermore, follow yoga accounts. Trust me, you will not regret it. Those can be very inspiring as well. And I want you to know, my gorgeous Aries babies, that you're being told that your life is enhanced by yoga, stretching, and exercising in general. So try to invest a little bit more in that. And if you're not able-bodied, for example, do as much as you can. You don't need to be a high-performing athlete in order to be able to experience the benefits of just getting your blood flowing and just challenging yourself within your range of motion. Next up, we've got I communicate with compassion. My gorgeous Aries babies, you can sometimes be very direct and impulsive, and maybe when you say things, people can take it a little more harshly than you mean it. So try to communicate with a little bit more compassion. I mean, you are ruled by Mars, which is definitely a planet of being assertive and taking the initiative. You're pioneering, you're not afraid of competition, but that can definitely intimidate some people, especially when it comes to dating. I see here that in I benefit with gratitude, that you're definitely the type of person who isn't conceited. So while people do have a lot of respect for you, and you can be pretty intimidating. They don't feel as though you're doing it on purpose at all, my gorgeous Aries babies. But do know, if you want to be in a leadership position, be it a managerial role, be it starting your own company, you have to be a supportive leader first and foremost. If you're the type of leader that people are afraid of, they're afraid to tell you when something is going wrong, especially because they're worried about your reaction. Trust me, that will harm your entire career and professional life in the long run, because people feel as though they cannot come to you because they're worried of your reaction. And then a lot of things only get figured out as it's too late, or as it's already harmed the entire establishment to a point that it didn't need to get to, if people felt as though, they could talk to you without repercussion when you're in a managerial role. So try to keep your cool as much as possible. As I do see here within the gathering and the master number 55, that you are meant to be like a CEO, a manager of a lot of people. You are meant to be the one who is putting these gatherings together. And it is truly essential that you use all of your amazing energy in order to pump people up, to build up the community, rather than to use it in order to be in competition or lead any type of confrontation, as you are way stronger than the other people mentally and physically, probably as well, more than you realize. So that can be intimidating. I see here within waves crash and stars fall that during the nights you will find that there's a lot of magic that's going on sooner rather than later. So if you just met someone and you're crazy in love, my beautiful Aries babies, that explains a lot. But if you're single or you've been in a long-term committed relationship, know here in waves crash and stars fall that there is still this possibility of just passion, of feeling as though love has been renewed, or you're discovering your body even just by yourself, the things that you like, the things that turn you on. And I see here within a spirit crane that it's important for you to kind of just go with the flow when it comes to your body, when it comes to what you do during the night times. One thing that the spirit crane also stands for is just your relationship to the divine, to God, to the universe, whatever you'd like to call it, and to remind yourself here that that can really give you a purpose that just catapults you to a whole different level when it comes to the success that you have in your life. If you're only looking to lead a life where you're comfortable and you have nice things, that's great. But once you have a greater purpose and you're dancing with the divine, you're working with manifestation, you're working with your spirit guides, with your higher power, that's when real miracles happen. Leave a little yellow heart emoji below in the comment section, my gorgeous Aries babies, to let me know that you're an Aries and that you're here, and also to just confirm that you understand that when you have like a greater purpose, like for example, feeding lots of people on this planet who do not have any food to eat, if it's, for example, taking care of the environment or helping homeless animals, if that is your greater goal, it is going to do so much more in your lifetime than if you just say, well, at some point I want to drive a nice car, or I want to own a nice home. Yeah, you can do that, but you're going to accomplish so much more. You're going to leave such a legacy when you have a greater purpose than just what you can gain. I see here in the King of Cups for you, my beautiful Aries babies, we've got some water sign energy. Think Pisces, Cancerian, or Scorpio, someone who is secretive and mysterious. They have very authoritative energy. And I see that for some reason they're an important person. You need to know here that this is the type of person that you kind of like have a soft spot for. So maybe they're a lover actually, or they're meant to be a lover at some point in your life, because I see that with them, communicating compassionately is very easy, and they kind of have the same mindset when it comes to spirituality and a greater purpose, and that's where you really click with one another. Now, the Two of Pentacles does also show me that something that you have to hear, my beautiful Aries babies, is to figure out your work-life balance. If you're working yourself to the bone, or you never have any free time for yourself or your family, that's not really sustainable in the long term. And when there's too much tension between these areas of your life, that can lead to burnout. So it's really important that you look at these different parts of your existence and that you're maybe even a little hard with yourself, my Aries babies, and say, okay, I really need to figure out in the next 4 to 6 months how I'm going to structure my work-life balance in a way that is sustainable. Give yourself time. You don't have to like quit work from one day to the next or underperform or jeopardize your career, your finances. You don't need to do that at all, but have a plan and start implementing the little changes that you need to get to that place of balance and of true health. So all of my beautiful Aries babies, this is the second part of your prediction that I received for you. I hope you enjoyed it and that you found it insightful. Let me know below in the comment section. Also, don't forget to check out my tarot and oracle cards. I'm always developing new decks, so make sure you check those out, as well as the other divination accessories, my crystal jewelry, my natural crystals. You guys know I've got all sorts of beautiful products that ship right from Switzerland to your doorstep, and also lots of free downloadables. And my blog has new articles every single week to support you and to bring you clarity. So all of my beautiful Aries, thank you for being here, for spending this divine time and space with me, and I can't wait to connect with you during one of my upcoming predictions. Hello, all my beautiful Taurus babies. Welcome to part 2 of your prediction about everything that you need to hear. Let's get straight into it, my beautiful Taurus babies. I hope that you enjoyed part 1 of your prediction, but now let's talk all things Taurus, my favorite earth sign. Don't tell Capricorn and Virgo though. So first up, we've got I honor virtue. My beautiful Taurus babies, you are stable, you are reliable. You're the type of person who honors virtue, and you are someone who a lot of people respect and look up to. You need to hear this. I see here in I relate in peace that you are a very peaceful sign. Honestly, Taurus is probably one of the most chill signs of the zodiac until they're not. Okay, so if you get on Taurus's bad side, if you get under Taurus's skin, or you lie to Taurus, you betray their trust, then it's over for you. But if you do anything else, Taurus is chill. Taurus definitely relates in peace and keeps the peace. You're often the glue that keeps a lot of friendships and families together too. I see within I follow my inner guidance that it's important for you to listen to that gut feeling of yours, especially because you're such a grounded sign. You're a sign that is so rooted in balance and not making decisions that are just impulsive. You really take your time, even with the relationships that you develop and selectively put into your life, that you so carefully place into different areas, whether it be romantic relationships or platonic ones such as friendships. Follow your gut feeling. Trust it more, my beautiful Taurus babies. That is something that you're meant to hear, especially if you've been unsure about your gut feeling and your intuition. And going forward, I see that now we're only going up and we're only going forward. If you feel as though your life has been retrograding, or just things such as Mercury retrograde or other planets in retrograde have made you feel as though you've been taking steps backwards and just not really progressing in the direction that you hoped you would, know here, my gorgeous Taurus babies, that what you need to hear is that you're now moving forward. And it's a phase of healing chaos when you feel like you're going backwards, but actually what's happening is that you're healing. You're dealing with things that you shouldn't be bringing along with you as like extra baggage anyways, because it's not going to serve you in the long run. It would just stifle you at some point. So the earlier that you deal with chaos, the earlier that you deal with setbacks, the better. And the more likely you are to be able to just move forward lighthearted, feeling as though there's nothing holding you back. So the sooner that you heal trauma and chaos, the better. Don't put it off. I see here within the tarantula that there are a lot of things happening very quickly, and that can be uncomfortable. And if you're someone who doesn't like spiders, I want you to know that the tarantula definitely shows this discomfort, right? And that it's important for you to know that when there's a lot going on, try to just meditate, try to ground yourself, try to have a morning and an evening routine that you know happens regardless. That can really give Taurus a feeling of support and calm during uncertain times, and times where the world is also going in all kinds of directions. There are scary things popping up on the news every single day, and that also makes you feel uneasy. And I see here within the black egg that something that you need to hear is the fact that there is still a big surprise that's coming towards you. This is a big surprise economically or politically that you did not expect. And I definitely see here in the black egg that it's going to affect you in some way, shape, or form, but in a good way. So I see that while it may affect other people in a negative sense, I see that the next steps globally are going to affect you positively. Now, I don't want to kind of rub anyone the wrong way, but for example, when lockdown happened, it was really hard for a lot of people. A lot of people really suffered due to that situation, but there were also people who were very happy to stay at home and not have to go to work. There were also people who were happy to be able to be with their spouse, maybe a parent who they could take care of, a child who they could look after that was maybe not feeling well, that was ill. So that is what I mean with, for a lot of people it may be hard, but for you some of these changes might just come in the right moment. I see here within the onion, my gorgeous Taurus, that protecting yourself is something that you should do going forward by, for example, drawing up different contracts. If you're thinking to get married or to sign a lease on something, really read through those contracts and put in any type of extra protection that you need for yourself. And also that brings more clarity to who you're dealing with, because if someone is reacting in a very defensive manner when you want to protect yourself, and you're not protecting yourself by making their life more difficult. You're not like protecting yourself but leaving them without protection, but you're kind of just making it clear that you don't want anyone to screw you over, and someone's just like making a big deal about it, then you know that this is maybe a situation to reconsider altogether. So my gorgeous Taurus babies, without trust, you don't have anything. And I see here in the carrot and the onion that there will be clarity in many relationships as soon as you bring up protecting yourself, especially financially and economically. I see here within the bay that that will make you so much smarter, and your skills when it comes to people reading, they're already off the charts, my gorgeous Taurus babies. Like, you are a great listener, and it's not because you're necessarily super interested in what other people have to say, but it's just because you can read people so well when you just lean back, you just let them talk. And the more you let them talk, the more they reveal of themselves. We've also got the master number 22. I want you to know that this is a number of wisdom. This is a number of a great teacher, but also a student for life. And this wisdom shows that you've always kind of been an old soul. Maybe even as a kid, people always thought you were a lot older once you began actually talking, once you opened your mouth, because you just seemed so mature, so wise beyond your years. That's one thing that I see in the bay. Now, the tarragon shows me that it's important for you to take enough time for regeneration throughout your path moving forward. And now regeneration could be a spa day. It could be spending time in nature, my beautiful Taurus babies. You get to pick, but the most important thing is to just not forget times of regeneration moving forward, to not put that on the back burner. As a Taurus, once you have started with self-care, you are actually kind of like an expert at it. People may post a lot of memes about you on Instagram about how you are self-care kings and queens, and you are being called to really tap into that. That's something that you're meant to hear, especially if you haven't put on a face mask in a long time, you haven't taken a bath, you haven't been out for a nice little walk. Follow me on Instagram to follow my 10K daily walks, my gorgeous Taurus babies, because I always take you guys along on all of those little regeneration practices. So we are at the end of your prediction now, and I really hope that it resonated for you. Feel free to leave a little Taurus emoji below in the comment section to let me and others know that you were here, that you received part 2 of your prediction, and feel free to also let me know if it resonated with you. Furthermore, check out my website. I've got an amazing blog, free downloadables, and of course lots of tarot and oracle cards and other things related to divination that all ship straight from Bow Life's HQ here in Switzerland. Switzerland to your doorstep worldwide, no matter where you are. But there's something for everyone, as mentioned, the blog, the free downloadables. It's not just for shopping. So all of my beautiful Taurus babies, thank you so much for being here, for spending this divine time and space with me. And I can't wait to connect with you during one of my upcoming predictions. Hello, all my beautiful Gemini babies, and welcome to part 2 of your prediction. I hope that you enjoyed the first part of your reading as much as I enjoyed creating it for you. Now let's talk all things Gemini when it comes to things that you need to hear. So first up, we have, I respect the property of others. My beautiful Gemini babies, you are a very respectful sign, and I can see here that someone is going to entrust you with something very important to them. So someone may give you their house keys because they're going away and they would like for you to water their plants. Maybe it is your boss at work giving you the keys to the office or giving you some really important files and you having access to those. I see here that you are trusted with a lot of these things because you have proven time and time again that you are respectful of other people's property. And I affirm that all life is sacred. It just really shows that it doesn't matter whether it is a secret that a child told you or a huge secret of a company that a CEO of a Fortune 500 company told you. If someone trusts you with something that is important to them, it is sacred to you, no matter how unimportant it may seem to some people. To you, everyone is treated as equal, and all life is sacred, and everyone's property, everyone's secrets are sacred to you. Yes, you like to talk as a Gemini, but you will never spread rumors that aren't true, and you will never gossip on someone else's dime, okay? You will never say something that will harm another person who trusted you. And I give blessings. I can see here that all of my Geminis, you just need to be praised for the fact that you are a cheerleader for many people. You are that friend that always has the right thing to say, that will push you forward, that will make you want to be a better person. That's one thing that I can see that you do for others. And you had to hear this because you don't realize how important you are to so many people. And I see here within the voyage that even people far away, even people in other countries and other continents feel so supported by having you as part of their family or part of their friends. And even if you can't necessarily go there very often or travel to these places, I want you to know here that you are definitely such a huge support to more people than you realize, and having you around is so meaningful. My gorgeous Geminis, feel free to leave a little whale emoji below in the comment section to let me and others know that you're a Gemini without saying it so clearly as to leaving like a Gemini symbol, right? And that you're still with me, that you're still receiving part 2 of your prediction. So next up, we've got embracing. One thing that you need to hear is the fact that it is so okay for you to embrace the fact that a lot of little things matter to you, whether it is the life of an animal that other people think are insignificant, whether it is something quote unquote little as communication style. Maybe you don't like certain words that your mother uses when she talks to you. Maybe you don't like whenever there's a family gathering that there is that person that makes a remark about your relationship status or your weight or your job situation or just your looks in general. Embrace the fact that for you, everyone is sacred. All life is sacred. You would never do anything to make another person feel uncomfortable because you're the cheerleader. You're the one giving out blessings. And you are not expecting for other people to be you or for other people to do the same for you. But what you will expect and what boundary you will enforce is that people don't drag you down. That's one thing that I see here within embracing. And next up, in courage, it's very clear that part of everything that you need to hear is that it will take a little courage to breach what you have not been able to do in the past. So maybe in the past you just thought to yourself, well, you know, they're family or they're a friend, well, they're a boss, they're a coworker, they're this, they're that. You just made excuses for people who are rude for no reason, and they know better because they wouldn't say it to someone else. That family member would not be so rude to someone who they just met on the street, or for example, their boss. They would not point out these things. So they are aware of what they're doing. They're aware that there are boundaries and they are happy to cross yours. So remind yourself when it's taking a lot of courage and a lot out of you to speak up, that it's important that you get over the feeling of not having done anything earlier. So that means that you shouldn't do it now, because oftentimes people who are manipulators and narcissists, they'll then start to reason with, well, you never said anything in the past, so I never thought it was an issue. So why should it be an issue now? Why should I change now? Well, because we're asking you to, okay? And because we have mustered up the courage to tell you, and we're only going to tell you once. I see here within the Eight of Swords, my gorgeous Geminis, that you're definitely being called to free yourself from constraints and from mental anguish. Often we make things out to be bigger in our minds than they actually end up being in real life. That's what I see here in the Eight of Swords. So it truly is important for you to speak up and communicate what you don't like without fear of being crucified. I see within the Judgment card that if there's one thing that Gemini doesn't like, that's being judged. I see here within the Judgment card that you don't want for people to speak negatively behind your back, which is totally understandable. But I also want to remind you here of the fact that there are some people who will speak negatively about you behind your back, no matter how much you praise them, no matter how much you lift them up, no matter how much you do for them, they will still complain, they will still judge, they will still talk. And you have to remind yourself here that your inner calling is to be someone who is supportive, is to be someone who respects all living beings. And not everybody will understand that. Some people are also just not mentally and spiritually in a place where they're at peace with themselves. So they will judge you, but don't allow that to take away from your path or to affect you in any way, because that's when you give your power away, and nobody deserves to have your power other than you, my beautiful Gemini baby. Next up in the Temperance card, don't overdo it when it comes to drinking, unhealthy foods, okay? Try not to overdo it when it comes to any substances, no matter what types you enjoy, you know, the little green guy. I want you to know here within the Temperance card that everything in balance is best for you right now. You have to hear this, because the Temperance card shows a combination of balance as well as common sense. That is what will lead to your health. If you're doing too much of a good thing or of a bad thing, it's all not going to be favorable in the long term. So you're being called out when it comes to that. I also see that something that you have to hear is that some people will break your heart. And we're all going to go through heartbreak, all my Gemini babies. And I know this isn't the nicest, sweetest topic to talk about, but you guys know that the number one thing about my channel is just the honesty, the directness. And the Three of Swords definitely shows me here that it will break your heart to understand that some people will never be able to relate to your positivity. Some people will just never feel as though anything that you or their spouse or their friends do for them is ever enough. No matter how much you care, you cannot expect everybody to feel as deeply as you do. I see here within the day you plant the seed that something that you need to hear is to be patient with your ventures. Remind yourself here that when you plant a seed, for example, you put that seed in the dirt, you cover it up with dirt, you have to water it, you have to have faith that it's going to grow, that something is going to come of it, and you have to take care of it in the meantime. And that is what you're being asked to do, my gorgeous Gemini. You're being asked to be patient, to remind yourself that the day you start something is not always the day it's a success. It almost never is actually the day that it's a success. No matter what you start, everything worthwhile in life takes time. The day that you begin is not the day that it will feel fulfilling, that you will feel proud of yourself, or that you will feel accomplished. When you start at the first day at your job, you're not going to be a manager. You're not going to be making what you want to make. That first time that you do something entrepreneurial, it's most likely not going to be an overnight success. You're going to have to start somewhere. The very first day you meet someone, yeah, you may feel like they're your soulmate, but you haven't built anything yet, right? You don't know if you can really rely on them when you need them. You don't know how much you can trust them. So the day a seed is planted is not the day in which you really enjoy what it means to have taken care of the situation and nourished it and allowed it to grow into something bigger. So remind yourself here that planting the seed is important, but then having patience and seeing what comes of it means just as much, if not more, and to enjoy that part of the process. Next up, my beautiful Gemini in On Fire, I can definitely see here that you've got this extra oomph to you. I can see that you are being looked at by others as someone who is on fire, someone who is going places, and someone who is physically attractive as well. So if this is not how you feel at the moment, fake it till you make it, my gorgeous Gemini. Sometimes you just have to tell yourself that you're gorgeous in order to get yourself in the headspace of self-confidence and to see what others see in you. Sometimes you just need to look at yourself through the lens of somebody else. Ignore how you feel about yourself right now. Remind yourself of the fact that if you think you're on fire, you are on fire. If you think that you're not good enough, you're not good enough. Because the quote is really true. Whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. So that is the last little parting piece of guidance that I've got for you. All of my beautiful Gemini babies, I hope that you enjoyed this prediction and you left that whale emoji below. You can find my decks, my blog, my free downloadables all on my website. And I would just like to thank you so much for spending this divine time and space with me. I love you guys so, so much. And I can't wait to connect with you during one of my upcoming readings. Hello, all of my gorgeous fellow Cancerians, and welcome to the second, even more personalized part of your prediction, where we talk all things crab energy. So I hope that you enjoyed part one of your reading, which you got to pick from during the intro, but now let's move into a part two of your prediction. So let's see what's going on for you and everything that you, or shall I say we, need to hear. So first up, we've got I hold purity in high esteem. I can definitely see here that something that you need to hear is that you being someone who is very honest, direct, and pure is something that kind of puts you on a pedestal for a lot of people because they know that they can trust your opinion. You will tell them the truth. And also, whenever you give them advice, it's not coming from a place of secretly wanting to lower their expectations or secretly kind of hoping that it doesn't work out for them. Whenever you give someone advice, it's really from a pure place and from a place of you wanting to see them win. And I converse with awareness. I see here that something that you have to hear is the fact that your words are very powerful and that people, when they talk to you, they feel as though you're very connected on a spiritual level. It's like you're this multi-dimensional being that is having this human experience, and people really feel as though your intuitive side and your psychic side is constantly connected in every single exchange that you have with other people. They notice and they realize, hey, there's something more here than just a surface level person. I see here in I Care for the Earth, all my fellow Cancerians. It's something you need to hear is to definitely take action and be in alignment with your beliefs when it comes to the earth, animals, and taking care of other living structures with which there is cohabitation. I definitely see here that being in alignment means, for example, if you care about the earth, to ensure that your diet leaves as little of a footprint as possible when it comes to land that was used, water, pesticides, things like that. I also do see here within I Care for the Earth that something that you have to hear is that fertility is most likely going to be a topic of conversation sooner rather than later. And maybe caring for the earth in connectivity to fertility also means that you start to plant things, you start to grow your own foods, you start to garden. It's like a new idea, the birth of a new era, and also shedding your old skin, becoming a lot more eco-friendly. That's something that I see here in your near future. And I am humble. I can see that no matter how much you like nice things or the finer things in life, you will always remain humble. You will always be that person who understands the value of a dollar or a euro or a Swiss franc, depending on where you live. And I do want you to know here that being a humble person is definitely something that allows for people to come and speak to you, to be open with you, and to tell you what they're going through and and how they feel, which is why sometimes you end up being the shoulder to cry on for many, many people, which is why it's so important for you to hear about purification, my fellow Cancerians. Now leave a little sunflower emoji below in the comment section to let me and others know that you are a fellow Cancerian and that you're here in part 2 of your prediction. So purification means just getting rid of other people's energies, especially if someone had to vent to you. Now that doesn't mean getting rid of the entire relationship or the whole person. Everyone needs to vent sometimes, right? So do know here that when you're open to that and when you're open to just holding space for someone and supporting them, you must purify yourself energetically and emotionally afterwards, because you don't want that energy to continue to linger on you, right? You want to ensure that you get rid of that after you've supported the person. So purification could be meditation. That's an amazing way to purify your energy. I love to meditate every single day or just when I feel overwhelmed. Also going on walks, just listening to music. There are things such as meditative walks, you get the idea. Another thing you can do is chant, just moving your body overall. Also just taking a little moment to write in a mindfulness and gratitude journal. I have some that I created on my website, bowlife.com. Feel free to check those out as well. There's so many ways in which you can just purify yourself. You should just select whichever way inspires you the most and makes you feel the most just lightness once you're done. Next up, we've got love for you. So my beautiful little crab babies, in love, I can see that something that you have to hear is that you are so loved. And you may sometimes question whether people really care about you. Maybe you even have social anxiety or anxiety and trust issues in a way of needing affirmation or confirmation very often from people you care about, just kind of telling you, no, I really do love you. I really do still care about you. You are intelligent and amazing, and I want to be with you and around you. But one thing that you need to hear is that when you need a lot of confirmation, that is often a sign that you're not really sure of yourself. And this is a message here for you, my fellow Cancerians, that you are so loved and to start believing it and acting like it. Next up, we've got the Fool, okay? You have to start a completely new chapter when it comes to love. And if you've ever felt like, oh, well, I love myself, I don't really need help when it comes to self-love, I don't hate myself, which means that I like myself, right? But self-love has so many different facets and levels and nooks and crannies. Sometimes you do love yourself, but you realize in certain moments that there are still insecurities. Like maybe you feel fine about yourself, but in romantic relationships, you need extra confirmation. You may not need that with friends and family, but if you're dating someone romantically, you need them to maybe say more often that they care about you, that they find you attractive, things like that. So that's where you know that maybe the area of self-love and confidence when it comes to romance could be worked on, right? Could be upped, because you're a very humble person overall. You may not realize that maybe you just need to amp up that confidence in an area of your life in order to not constantly feel as though you're unsure or uncertain about yourself. Next up, we've got the 9 of Pentacles. So all of my gorgeous crab babies, I see here that what's coming next for you is actually a lot of material abundance and prosperity. A lot of the things that you set into motion are now finally going to come to fruition. So if you've worked very hard on a work project, know that you will be able to reap the rewards and the benefits. The 9 of Pentacles also shows that it's important that you don't just settle or kind of rest on your laurels. I think that's how the saying goes, but instead plan ahead for the next big projects and the next big successes that you know you're going to attract into your life. Next up, we've got the Best of You. So something that you have to hear is that love truly can bring out the best of you. And if you've had tumultuous love stories and situations and just crazy in love experiences, and now what you want is calm in love, supported in love, mature in love, do know here that this is definitely something that exists for you. You just simply need to seek it out and make it crystal clear whenever you're dating that you're not with the hot and cold treatment, that you're not with the whole well, let's just see where things go. If you need clarity, if you need things to be crystal clear, give it a realistic kind of deadline. Between like 3 and 4 months should be more than enough, my fellow Cancerians. Kind of scope out how the relationship or situationship is working out. And then make your decision. If someone cannot settle for you after 3 to 4 months, they know who you are, they've been with you, they've spent a lot of time with you, then they are not the right one for you, and you need to move on to someone who knows that they want to be with you. I see here within the leap of faith that something that you need to hear is to take that leap of faith. This is your sign, my beautiful Cancer baby. If there's something you've been thinking about doing, right? Making music, publishing something, starting your own YouTube channel, take the leap of faith and remind yourself that often the leap of faith is just the beginning, but you have to start somewhere, right? You have to take that leap in order for things to even begin to happen. And if you feel as though you don't have enough space in your life, it's like you don't have enough time or maybe physical space to really take the leap and delve into a passion project, declutter. There's most likely a lot of stuff that you don't even use regularly or you don't necessarily need. And it's time for you to get rid of those things. They don't need to live rent-free in a space that could accommodate a passion project. That could be a creative space where you just make things and you delve into some deep focus time. Declutter anything that you haven't used in a while, my beautiful Cancerians. Don't get emotionally attached to things, especially when your space could constantly be changing and evolving to suit what you're going through at any given point in time, especially if you're paying rent somewhere. Remind yourself every day that goes by, you are paying that rent, and it is so important for you to make the most of it and to make the space how you feel comfortable and how you can create. Now, all of my beautiful fellow Cancerians, this is the reading that I received for you, and I hope that you enjoyed it and found it insightful. Thank you so much for spending this divine time and space with me. I love you guys all so much. I'm sending you so much love, and I can't wait to connect with you during one of my upcoming predictions. Hello, all of my beautiful Leo babies. Welcome to part 2 of your prediction. I hope that you enjoyed part 1 that you got to choose from during the intro. But now let's talk all things lion energy, shall we, when it comes to everything that you need to hear. So first up, we have a card that popped out of the pile, which says, I am trustful in my relationships. So all of my beautiful Leo babies, you are known to be one of the most confident signs of the zodiac. You are said to be one who is outgoing, one who's fun, lively, one who can be a little impulsive. And I see here within I am trustful in my relationships that you have to apply that same confidence and that same inner knowing to your relationships, whether it be friends, family, romantic lovers. If you're constantly kind of asking yourself if people really do like you or not, try to get those thoughts out of your head. The people in your life really do love and support you. Try to be confident in that. Next up, we've got I am forgiving. So all of my beautiful Leo babies, you are being called to forgive someone who did you wrong, to forgive a situation that just didn't serve you or the big picture. And I do see here that it's important for you to learn to trust again after forgiveness, especially if it's a family member who crossed a line, if it's a lover. Try to learn to trust again in the sense of if someone shows you through actions that they really are trying to regain your trust, accept it and be forgiving. And know here within I speak with sincerity, if there's anything that you're not happy with or that kind of makes you feel uncomfortable, just speak up about it sincerely. You don't have to make a big deal about it, right? You can be very direct, very open and honest, and then move on to the next topic as soon as you've relayed your emotions and your feelings about something that someone may have done that you're just not in agreement with. So all of my beautiful Leo babies, what you really need to hear is to be outspoken, but in a way that is kind, in a way that is sincere and focused on an outcome where everyone just understands one another, and to learn to be forgiving with people who crossed a line. Now, of course, that doesn't mean that you're going to trust them with your life again immediately, but just remind yourself here that there are people who make mistakes, who are sincerely apologetic, who sincerely wish that they could have done better, and it's important that you give people a chance and that you you don't write them off immediately. I do see here within purity that because you're someone who's a very pure and honest soul, it's kind of hard for you to understand how another person could maybe disrespect you, betray you, go behind your back, and still be sorry about it and still understand that it was wrong later on. I see here within simplicity, my gorgeous Leo babies, that you are going through a phase of really overthinking what's going through other people's minds. And a lot of people, they just don't even think when they do things. So keep it simple. Remind yourself that often people's reactions and people's behavior is just a pattern. It's just a reflex. It's just something that happens. It's pre-programmed. They don't even think that much about it. There is not always an ulterior motive behind everything that happens in this world. I see here within security that for my beautiful Leos, focusing on security surrounding you is what you need to hear right now. So focusing, for example, on security financially, making sure that you diversify what you do with your money, making sure that each and every month you're putting a little bit of funds aside just for a rainy day, just in case. And furthermore, also creating security within relationships, as in having contracts when it comes to certain aspects, such as, in a marriage, having a prenup, a postnup, having some sort of written agreement about what happens should the relationship break up, or should one of you not be capable of deciding for whatever reason. And I see here within Time to Move On that you have to go away from anything that is just taking up space in your head rent-free and not bringing you peace. If there are relationships where you have forgiven but trust is just impossible, you absolutely cannot even imagine ever trusting that person again, speak up with sincerity because your intent is pure. You just know that you can forgive, but you cannot trust. You cannot be around that situation anymore, and then move on. Don't overthink it. Know that some relationships are just here for a season and a reason, and it's okay. Let's keep it simple. Let's keep it pushing. Let's move on from any relationships that don't serve us. I see here within multiple streams that you are actually being encouraged to create security for yourself by putting your eggs in lots of different baskets. And with multiple streams, we've got just that. Think to yourself, multiple streams of income, right? If you, for example, write a novel, that's a stream of income. And then maybe you also provide some sort of services one day a week to people that you're just good at. That's another stream of income. Maybe you've got a day job, a 9 to 5, or even a part-time job. That's another stream of income. Maybe you are working on creating something such as an Instagram account for your business, maybe a website, maybe a YouTube channel. That could potentially be another stream. So setting up multiple streams is really the best thing that you can do for yourself at this given time, all my beautiful Leos. Now, the Three of Pentacles here shows me that it's important for you to not be afraid to collaborate with others and also ask for help from people who have done what you are trying to do. Don't be too proud to do that. Don't let the ego take over. Remind yourself here that anyone who is successful or wealthy or has accomplished amazing things, if you ask them for advice, they are very likely to share that advice. If you ask them for help, they're very likely to help you out. Now, I don't mean asking them for material things. I don't mean asking them for funds. I mean advice. They will be more than happy to sit down with you and talk about how they got there, because the Four of Cups here shows me that so many times people who are successful or wealthy, they get asked for funds. They get asked for actual material things. So when you come around and you just asked for advice, you just ask for a light at the end of the tunnel, for someone to help lead the way, to show you what's coming next or where there is potential for you to grow. That actually is a huge change and something that they didn't expect. I see here within the Three of Wands that you can actually forge really amazing business relationships and connections the more kind of curious and humble that you remain, and the more you just ask for help, just ask, my gorgeous Leo babies, because the worst thing that could really happen is that someone says no, and that's most likely not going to happen. As I see here within the Empress, you're actually someone who is super attractive to other people. Other people see you as wife or husband material, as long-term partner material, and that is definitely something here that serves you in business too, because people love to help you, people love to be around you because they just overall like your energy, and they like how attractive that you are on the external plane, which makes them want to listen to you more on the internal plane. Now, all of my gorgeous Leo babies, I also just want to announce that I think the pastel journey will be just about ready to ship by the time that this video is published. So if you love these tarot cards, make sure that you check out the link in the description box. It's from my website, bowlife.com. I mean, just look at these gorgeous cards. They're absolutely stunning. And furthermore, my blog and my free downloadables are on bowlife.com as well. So there's something for everyone. I would just like to thank you for spending this divine time and space with me. Leave a lion emoji below to let me and others know that you're a Leo and that you were here, that you enjoyed your reading. And know that I'm sending you so much love, all my beautiful Leo babies. And I cannot wait to connect with you during one of my upcoming predictions. Hello, all my beautiful Virgo babies. Welcome to part 2 of this prediction of yours. Let's talk all things Virgo. I hope that part 1 resonated and that you're enjoying this reading so far. So let's see what we've got for all my gorgeous Virgos when it comes to everything that you need to hear. So we've got, I communicate with compassion, as well as I affirm that all life is sacred. One thing that you're being called to do that you need to hear is that you're someone who is very kind, compassionate, and you always communicate in a way that other people can receive and not feel defensive about. But trust me, there will always be people who will find something that is wrong in your delivery, my gorgeous Virgos. And because you're someone who is very analytical, you're critical, detail-oriented, you're service-minded, you're someone who really takes criticism to heart, not because you let others affect you easily, but because you want to do better. You're a bit of a perfectionist. You can definitely be prone to overthinking about people's comments and, just pleasing people who you will never be able to please. And you are being called to be aware of that and to realize that some people will never be happy no matter how good of a job that you do, and to realize that and to not allow that to live rent-free in your head. Next up, we've got I am open to love in various forms. Remind yourself here, my beautiful Virgos, that there are so many different types of love. If you're single, you may be craving a romantic love, but a friendship and a community with people of the same gender or opposite genders, or anyone who identifies as anything, it doesn't even matter. All I'm trying to say is that sometimes platonic relationships can be just as fulfilling as romantic ones. And if you've been in a long-term romantic relationship, it's important for you to see your person's love language, especially if it's faded because you've been having a lot of arguments or a lot of friction. Sometimes it can be hard to really see how much the other person loves you and cares about you because you're constantly in heated situations. But just take a step back and be open to the fact that maybe the way that they show love is just different, but that doesn't make it any less special or any less valid. Next up, we've got I consume only my fair share. Yes, my beautiful Virgo babies, your fair share is the only thing that you should consume. But for you, because of how humble you are maybe not consuming your fair share in the sense of not consuming enough, okay? Not taking in enough compliments, not taking credit where credit is due, not allowing for people to celebrate you the way that you deserve to be celebrated. Take your fair share, not just when it comes to, don't overconsume, don't take too much. Sometimes you are taking too little, and your fair share means amping up your consumption, okay? Amping up your consumption of consuming other people's time and energy the way that they consume yours. Be open to the fact that if you are a shoulder to lean on and to cry on for a lot of other people, when you need that support, Consume what you need. There's nothing to be ashamed of. As human beings, we are here to support one another, and it's okay if you are sometimes the person who needs support as well. I see here within Rise in Love that you have to stand up for yourself. That's the thing, my gorgeous Virgo babies. You're always standing up for the underdogs, for everybody else. You're always making sure that everyone is okay. But when it comes to you, you try to take as little as possible. You try to make sure that you make yourself and your voice as small as possible. You shrink yourself in way too many situations. And something that you need to hear is to rise in love for yourself. And sometimes consuming only your fair share actually means upping the consumption. Next up, we've got Soul Star energy. So I do see here that having conscious connections is what you need to hear about. So ensuring that anyone who is in your life is someone who you've consciously decided should be around you. And I do also see that being very mindful in just day-to-day life is something that can help you to consume your fair share. If you're surrounded by people who don't give up on you, who continue to pay you compliments even though you shrug them off, those are the types of people who can help you grow and learn, and the type of people who will help you to become more comfortable in your own skin and to be more resilient. That's what the crocodile stands for. The crocodile also corresponds to the element of water. So I definitely see here that you can be a little bit closed off, okay? Especially if someone pays you a compliment and you're just like, oh no, like I don't look good today. This old outfit, like no, it's nothing. Oh well, you know, my work, I like it, but I think I can still do better. All of these types of comments, not necessary, my gorgeous Virgo babies. Just accept, be grateful. Say it in a very humble way the next time someone pays you a compliment. Actually, let's just try it right now. Let's test it out right now. My beautiful Virgo baby, you are smart, you are intelligent, you are beautiful, and you are compassionate and kind. And now what you're going to do is you're just going to say, yes, thank you. Thank you, Vanessa. I appreciate that. That's what you are going to say right now out loud. Let's say it together. Thank you, Vanessa. Thank you for that compliment. Just say it, repeat it, because accepting compliments, learning to accept compliments without internally cringing, it can take time, but you just need to practice it and you'll start to feel comfortable. I wanted to pay you this compliment, my beautiful Virgo baby, so I want you to accept it. That will make me happy. It doesn't make me happy when I pay you a compliment and you shrug it off. Consume what I'm giving you. Consume your fair share. Next up, we've got the butterfly. Now, the butterfly is a symbol of transformation, and something that you have to hear is that transformation is constantly occurring. You are never done. You're never finished learning. You're never done with learning to become more comfortable, consuming your fair share, kind of just accepting compliments for what they are, enjoying attention in some situations. And I see here in the butterfly that you're making great progress. Remind yourself that you're also a delicate being that sometimes needs a break, and that's okay. Give it to yourself. Know here within the peppermint that you're headed towards success and unlocking some new levels in your life, my beautiful Virgo babies, and that it's okay for you to sometimes feel a little unsure or to not know what's coming next and to kind of just wander and ponder aimlessly. It's okay. We are not always 100% sure of where we're going, but the most important thing is that you follow the relationships and the different things that give you energy. So there are different people in this lifetime who, you know, some people, when you hang around them, you feel like you have more energy than before you were around them. And then there's some people who you hang out with and you feel drained. You feel like you need a vacation right now. So that is where I can see that you're being called to be really mindful, to pay attention, and maybe to just duck underwater, to duck your head from the relationships and situationships that take energy away from you, because you just don't need that right now. Of course, my beautiful Virgo babies. Leave a little butterfly emoji below to let me and others know that you are a Virgo, that you were here, that you enjoyed your reading, and you made it all the way to the end of the second part of your prediction. I'd like to thank you so much for being here. I love you so, so much, my beautiful Virgo babies, and I cannot wait to connect with you during one of my upcoming predictions. Hello, all my beautiful Libra babies, and welcome to part 2 of your prediction, where we're going to talk all things Libra. I hope that you enjoyed the first part and that those messages resonated with you. But now let's move into part 2 of your pick a card reading. So let's see what messages that your guides have for you. We've got I keep the waters pure, as well as I invoke laughter. So all of my beautiful Libra babies, I want you to know here that you are truly the one who is honest, who keeps the waters pure and real. You're the type of person who will never tell a lie to comfort another person. You will rather tell them the truth and have them be mad for a little bit than just tell them what they want to hear. And I see that people actually really appreciate that, even though that's not always what they want in the moment. But I see here in I Invoke Laughter that often you're able to laugh about situations after they've happened, after they've occurred, even though at the time they may have been a little difficult. And I also see here that a lot of people love your sense of humor, that they find you to be really fun, they love being around you, and you invoke laughter in them. Even if they don't always laugh out loud, internally they think you're actually someone who is super funny. Next up, we've got I benefit with gratitude. Don't be afraid to just consume with gratitude, whether that is someone's attention, whether that is getting a raise at your work, whether that is allowing someone to pay for a service that you have provided. My beautiful Libra babies, it's important for you to just gratefully accept the things that life has in store for you. Don't feel as though, oh, you can't just say thank you when someone pays you a compliment, or you can't accept a gift. If someone is trying to do something for you, they want to do that for you, and it's important for you to just accept with gratitude. It's not going to make you seem as though you're greedy or like you always want more. If someone wants to do something for you, accept it. Know here within rehabilitation that we have been so conditioned to believe that it's not okay to say that we love ourselves. It's not okay to accept compliments gracefully and happily, that we need a little bit of rehabilitation from that, my beautiful Libras. And that is what I can see that you have to hear, that you should just stay away from people who find it weird or cringy to love yourself. Stay away from anyone who doesn't bring enthusiasm to the table. You have to rehabilitate yourself from any type of negative energies and frequencies, because those are draining your fighting spirit. Those are draining you from having the most energy that you possibly could have. Now, as a Libra, you're very diplomatic, but sometimes you can be very indecisive as well. It can be hard for you to make a decision. You want everything to be in balance. You're the sign of the scale. So when you're constantly around people who are talking about things that aren't positive, who have trouble themselves ever making decisions, that will definitely affect you too. And it will take away from the energy that you have to move forward, to fight, to be able to continue to get up even when life kind of pushes you down. I see here within your tribe, your vibe, that something you must hear is that you are the average of the 5 people whom you spend the most time with, my beautiful Libra babies. So make those people count. And if you don't have 5 people in your life right now who inspire you, surround yourself with books, with podcasts, with interviews, with content by people who you want to be more alike, because at the end of the day, they don't have to physically be there with you. But it's important that when you do spend physical time with someone, that this is someone whom you look up to. This is someone who you want to be like, not someone who you think, yeah, they're okay, but I would never want their life. Then limit the amount of time that you spend with them. Make sure that your tribe really matches the vibe you're going for. And if needed, build your own tribe from scratch, okay? You can always make new friends no matter how old you are. And the portals of possibility, remind yourself that yes, just because it's not as easy as, say, in school, for example, to make friends, know here that when we're in school or when we're at work, we're just forced to be friendly with people who maybe aren't even on our wavelength. But once you're out of that system, once you are trying to make friends on your own terms, that's when you really get to pick the people who are allowed to be around you, who are allowed to benefit from your energy. And that's where it's important for you to know that there are so many more possibilities of where those friendships could go and what they could develop into, rather than when you're just forced to be around people and forced to kind of share energetic space with them. Next up, we've got the Spirit Wolf. Certainty of trust. I can definitely see here within the Spirit Wolf that you're being called to have faith. That's one thing that you need to hear. Some of the people who I'm sure you look up to who are very successful, they didn't know for sure that they would become successful. They just had to, in a sense, have faith, or either be completely crazy and live in this alternate reality where they just knew it was going to happen. And the more that they would rest in that frequency and in that space, the more they would actually attract those outcomes into their life. That's one thing that I see in the Spirit Wolf that you're being called to do, to kind of apply that to yourself as well, and to remind yourself that you've only got one life to live. If there are certain goals that you want to accomplish that you think people will laugh at you for, or will say are way too big, you don't need to tell small-minded people big dreams. That's what they'll do. They'll destroy them. Keep it to yourself, but keep faith and trust in the fact that you can get there and manifest it. Feel like you've already gotten there. Script every single day. Write down what you are experiencing as though you were already the CEO of your company, as though you were already that professional musician, as though you have already climbed the ladder in the company that you work in, that you love. So it's important for you to already feel like you've gotten to where you want to go, and to stimulate your mind and your nervous system in that way, because actually your imagination is just a preview of some things that haven't happened yet. And the more you feel into it, the more you can make it your reality. This isn't just hocus pocus, all of my beautiful Libra babies. This is actually something that works, because if you think about it, there was a time in history where people thought to themselves, man, I don't want to use horses anymore to carry things around. If there was only a vehicle that could go from point A to B way more quickly than horses, with way less effort, and could carry way more. And before you knew it, we had cars, we had other means of transportation, but it was just in someone's imagination at one point, right? It didn't exist yet. So remind yourself here that imagination is such a powerful, underrated, and undervalued tool, but you have received this message for a reason. You're here right now for a reason, my beautiful Libra baby, and that is for you to be reminded of this. That is for you to be made aware of this amazing tool that is right at your fingertips, right between your ears right now. And know here in the pansy that you can attract anything you set your mind towards, whether that is money, whether that is love, whether that is success, people looking up to you, your family being in a better position. You can attract whatever you put your mind towards, but you have to have blind faith and believe that it can be yours. And you have to already feel as though it has happened to you, and use different tools. All you need is a pen and a journal. All you need is patience, and you will get there. So all of my beautiful Libra babies, this is the second part of your prediction that I received for you. I hope that you enjoyed it and found it insightful. You guys, I love you so, so much. Don't forget to leave a little chili emoji below in the comment section to let me and others know that you're a Libra baby and that you watched your entire prediction. Thank you so much for being here, and I can't wait to connect with you during one of my upcoming readings. Hello, all my beautiful Scorpio babies, and welcome to part 2 of your prediction, which is based on your zodiac sign. I hope that you enjoyed part 1 and that it resonated, the part you got to pick from during the intro of this video. But now let's talk all things Scorpio, shall we? So we can see exactly what our beautiful Scorpios of this world need to hear. So let's see what the universe has to say to you. So first up, we've got I act respectfully of others. I definitely see that as a Scorpio, you're a very intense, magnetic, and mysterious sign, but nevertheless, you are always respectful. It doesn't matter whether someone is disrespectful towards you, you're not stooping to their level. And I see that something that you have to hear is to just pat yourself on the back, give yourself a real pat right now, congratulate yourself for the fact that you have this type of restraint with people who are just trying to test your patience. And I speak positively of others. I definitely also see here for my beautiful Scorpio babies that what you need to hear is that the more positively you speak of others, the the more that actually circulates and will come back to you. You'd be surprised at how you speak about others actually circulates. The more positive things you say about other people, the more people will talk about that. They'll say like, hey, did you know that this Scorpio said something really nice about you? They said this about you. And you will actually have so many friends in no time the more you speak positively of others, especially in something like an office environment. I see here within I Keep the Waters Pure that, of course, be very sincere when it comes to these compliments and these positive words. That is the most important thing. But as a Scorpio, it isn't hard for you to find positive things about everybody. You're the type of person who can always see the good in another human being because you know that you aren't perfect either. You've been through some tough times and you don't want people to judge you on your past or your mistakes either. You know you are not your mistakes. So you don't look at other people and think that they are their mistakes. You give them a fair chance just as you would like to have a fair chance as well. And I am humble. I can see here that you're the type of person who definitely never says that they are going to do more than they truly intend to do. You're a very humble individual that people like to have around them because this kind of humble energy just allows for other people to not feel threatened and to not feel as though you are putting yourself on a pedestal or above them. You're very humble about your accomplishments. And I do see here within the leap of faith that sometimes being too humble can actually keep you in a space that is safe when you should be taking more leaps of faith. So make yourself a little more uncomfortable. That's the message that we're receiving here, my beautiful Scorpio babies. Not to call you out or anything, but for example, getting up in the morning and working out, even if it's just 5 minutes, you should do it. And I do this every morning, my beautiful Scorpios. So whether I like it or not, and even if it's just 5 minutes, I will get out my jump rope and I will sweat for 5 minutes, okay? I will jump rope for 5 minutes. I will make myself uncomfortable because then I'm just already priming my mind to be strong enough to overcome uncomfortable things throughout the entire day, rather than waking up and, first thing, making yourself a warm beverage, comforting yourself throughout the day. No, sometimes you have to make yourself a little uncomfortable in order to make sure that you are resilient for the day. You have to take the leap of faith and you have to rehabilitate yourself from some of this toxic positivity that we have out here, because you're not meant to always be sweet to yourself. You are not meant to always just tell yourself, oh, it's okay, you're doing the best that you can. Sometimes you also have to be honest, and sometimes you're not doing the best that you can. And that's when you got to call yourself out, because at the end of the day, as much as we think ideally that the world should just accept us how we are and the world should just support us when we're doing everything that we can, at the end of the day, that's just not reality. And there are certain times where you have to push yourself to get to that next level. You will have to make sacrifices. But I also see that a message that you need to receive here is that a lot of people are willing to make huge sacrifices for you when they hear that you have spoke about them kindly. So this is a message that you are meant to receive, because when you speak kindly and positively of others and you pay sincere compliments, I see that they are willing to move mountains for you without you even knowing. So before you know it, at work or even in your personal life, if someone hears that you need help and they know that you've been speaking positively of them and you've been respectful towards them, they won't even tell you, but they will do everything in their power in order to help you out. I see here in the day you plant the seed that it's also important for you to bear in mind that this is something that you do slowly and steadily over a long amount of time. You get used to being that person who only speaks positively of others. You get used to being that person that others really love to have around. And it's not a from one day to the next thing, especially if you're not used to it, but you will get there. Remind yourself that you just simply need to start with these little adjustments and then just give it time in order for things to become natural, to grow, to develop, and also to rehabilitate yourself from feeling as though, okay, you always have to be sweet and kind to yourself. It's important that you're sometimes real with yourself, direct with yourself, and you call yourself out. Next up, we've got the Earth Star energy. So I can see here that soon there will be a celebration that you are meant to be a part of. And this celebration could be, for example, an engagement. It could be a wedding. I just want you to know here in the Earth Star energy that this is a ceremony that makes you feel powerful, that makes you feel good about the upcoming steps in your life. And here within the cosmic rebellion, I do also see that it's not going to be one that is conventional. So if you're getting married or engaged, or you're just celebrating some sort of milestone in your life, you're not going to do it conventionally. You're going to do it however you want to do it. And that is definitely something that shows the rebellious nature of you, my beautiful Scorpios, and the nature that is intense, that is powerful, and that doesn't care about what others have to say. You follow your intuition and you do what feels good for you. And that is so inspiring to so many of us. So never lose sight of that part of yourself. So all of my beautiful Scorpio babies, make sure that you leave a little bird emoji below in the comment section to let me and others know that you were here, that you received the second part of your prediction. Know that I'm sending you so much love, so many hugs, my beautiful Scorpios, and I can't wait to connect with you during one of my upcoming readings. Hello, my beautiful Sagittarius babies, and welcome to part 2 of your prediction, where we talk all things Sagittarius. I can't wait to get into your reading so we can figure out exactly what you need to hear. I hope that part 1 resonated, which you got to pick from during the intro of this video. But now let's get into our favorite fire signs prediction, shall we? So first up, we've got I achieve with integrity. Yes, my gorgeous Sagittarius babies, you are the type of person who has a strong sense of integrity, which means that when you say you're going to do something, you do it. You're that person that people come to when they want something done, and you're an amazing achiever. I can definitely see here that whenever you get to the top, you haven't done it by gossiping, by talking badly about others, by stepping all over other people's toes knowingly, or even going behind others' backs. No, you did it fair and square, with no help, with no cheating. I see here within I offer words of good intent that you are also someone who will always give good advice. If you don't have anything to say, you won't say anything at all. But one thing you will not do is you will not give somebody advice that isn't actually going to help them. Then you'd rather be silent. So I definitely see here that always offering words of good intent is something that people, they feel that, they notice that when they're talking to you. They realize that whenever you give advice, you really mean it. And I achieve with integrity. It shows why people really like to celebrate you once you're at the top, because they know that you got there with good intentions and without trying to kind of hurt other people along the way, right? Without trying to get into these unnecessary petty arguments, you just focused on yourself. And I regard all altars with respect. It shows that no matter what religious or cultural background other people come from, it doesn't matter to you. And also, it doesn't matter to you what background you come from, what color your skin is, what type of belief and mindset you have. You will not allow the world to tell you that you cannot do something. It doesn't matter if someone from your background hasn't been on TV in your region. If you want to be on TV, you will get on TV. It doesn't matter if someone of your educational level from where you live has not been able to become wildly successful, a millionaire or a billionaire. If you want to do that, you will go there. You are not going to allow any of your background to stop you moving forward. And that just shows such a deep sense of inner strength and belief. And that is something you should never lose, my gorgeous Sagittarius babies, because so many people are inspired by this. Next up, we've got boss up. So one thing that you need to hear is that you deserve everything that comes with the discipline and the achievements that you're going for. You deserve all of the riches. You deserve all of the wealth, all of the praise, even though it may feel cringy at first, or you may worry that people will think you've changed or you're a bad person. No, boss up. It's part of it, my beautiful Sagittarius babies. It's part of where you're going. And as long as you've done it with integrity, with your moral compass being turned on, and focusing on yourself, right? Not kind of using people as collateral to get to where you want to go. Trust me, you are that boss that people look up to and people love to serve and have around and be around. And on fire, I can see here that the more you step into this leadership role and the more you just embrace the boss that you can be, the more you will be able to achieve and the bigger the changes will be that you make in the world. And remind yourself here that someone is meant to be at the top, my gorgeous Sagittarius babies. Don't worry, we'll get into this card in just a second. And it might as well be you. It might as well be someone who actually cares about other people, who actually cares about integrity, who actually cares about human rights, who actually cares about the planet, the animals, so on and so forth. If you are not the one to be at the top and to ensure that these things are respected, someone else may be at the top who does not give two Fs about any of these areas of life. So remind yourself here that the more that you're able to accomplish, the more that you're able to put yourself in a position of power, the better it actually is for everybody, because there are too many people who will step over other people's toes, who will do whatever they can, throw people under the bus to get to where they're wanting to go. If you do that without any of those kind of negative side effects, trust me, you are meant to be at the top, and we need people like you at the top. In the Jar of Dreams, I can see that you are meant to speak into existence your dreams. You're meant to write them out. You're meant to breathe life into them. So if you feel as though you've been keeping a lot of your dreams just bottled up in a little jar, open up the jar, my beautiful Sagittarius babies. Okay, what are they doing in there? Let them breathe. Let them be free. Let them be spoken into existence. That is something that you need to hear. Stop making your dreams and your aspirations shrink themselves. Next up, we've got delight. Have fun. There may be many times where you want to go out and have fun, but you think to yourself, oh, I should do work, or I should stay in, I shouldn't spend money, I shouldn't drink, it's unhealthy, I'll be tired the next day. Just have fun. You only have one life. Chances are, my beautiful Sagittarius babies, I see this in my analytics, that you're probably between your late teens to your early 30s. There will never be a time in your life where you are this young again. There will never be a time in your life where you've got this much energy, where you're this youthful. Just have fun with it. Every now and then, doing something that you feel you shouldn't be doing, it's okay. Keep it simple. Don't overthink it. Sometimes just doing something that you spontaneously feel like doing can make your whole week, month, or year. It can be that experience that you remember and talk about for months and years to come. But if you never just take that leap, if you never just do it, you will have never experienced it, right? It would have never happened. So remind yourself here that if you have some moments of freedom, take a leap, enjoy it, soar, try to fly, try to just allow yourself to experience it. There's no reason not to. And again, remind yourself, you're not a cat. You don't have 9 lives. You've got one. Live that one life. And last but not least, the universe wants to say to you to take those risks. All of my gorgeous Sagittarius babies, leave a little mountain emoji below in the comment section to let me and others know that you're not only a Sagittarius, but that you vow to take some calculated risks, that you vow to get uncomfortable, to do things that bring freedom or could potentially bring more freedom into your life, to not overthink it once you've decided to take a risk, but instead to just keep it simple. Just tell yourself, yeah, I decided I'll take this risk. I'll see if it works out or not. If it works out, great. If it doesn't, great. I'll try again and I'll be one step closer to that next level of success. So all of my beautiful Sagittarius babies, this is the reading that I received for you for part 2. I hope you enjoyed it and that you found it insightful. Don't forget to check out my blog and my free downloadables. The links are all in the description box. Know that I'm sending you hugs and love and support, and I can't wait to connect with you during one of my upcoming predictions. Welcome, all of my beautiful Capricorn babies, to the second part of your highly personalized prediction. Now we're going to talk all things Capricorn. I hope that you enjoyed the first part of your reading that you got to pick from during the intro, but now let's figure out what messages are Capricorn placement specific. Let's see what your guides have to say. First up, we've got I live in truth. My gorgeous Capricorns, this is something that's a non-negotiable. You have to live your truth. So whether you are in the closet when it comes to your romantic orientation, whether you're not living your truth because you're not dressing the way you want to dress, you're not talking the way you want to talk, you're not working the job you want to work. Know here in I Live in Truth that you can get to that point where you're living in your truth. And it's important that you continue to push yourself through until the transformation is completed. So don't beat yourself down if you're not quite where you want to be, or you're not living fully embodied in your truth just yet. Just remind yourself that it's important to keep your eye on the prize and just take one step forward each day and celebrate those little baby steps. Remind yourself here in I Am Accepting that just as accepting as you are of others and them living in their truth, chances are you have people in your life who are just as accepting. And as a Capricorn, you're definitely someone who can have some conservative worldviews in some areas of your life. So it is difficult for you to imagine how others could be super open-minded when there are some truths about you that are maybe more unconventional than they're used to. But I see here within I Do Good that you're definitely someone who always comes from a place of wanting to serve the world, of wanting to serve yourself, others, of being accepting, of being loving. Do know here that something that you have to hear is that when you give others this acceptance and this love, you will receive it back, my gorgeous Capricorns. As a Capricorn, you are very efficient, you're disciplined, you're ambitious, and I want you to know here that this is something that can serve you so much more than you're currently tapping into. And remind yourself within I Do Good that sometimes you can get so worked up about little things that you forget how amazing you're doing in the grand scheme, how much less you could have accomplished for yourself and for others. So remember in I Am Accepting that it's important that you extend accepting energy to yourself, not just to those surrounding you. Next up, we've got the solar plexus energy, which is all about standing in your light and standing in your purpose. Sometimes your passions are not what you're meant to follow. Sometimes you're meant to follow your purpose. For example, if you are passionate about painting, but your purpose is actually creating music, or your purpose is actually leading people in a company, sure, you may love painting, but if you're not good at it the way you're naturally good at leading people or making music, you won't be happy for very long, or for as much as you are in your purpose, in your universe-given purpose, your God-given purpose, whatever you'd like to call it, because even during tough times, you will realize that this is what you're meant to do. Even though you have other passions, your purpose is where you will be able to make the biggest impact and really touch other people's lives and connect with others. That's how you know that you're in your purpose, not just in a passion project. I see here within the cosmic rebellion that you have to definitely set yourself free a little more, my beautiful Capricorns. You have been keeping some parts of yourself hidden and some parts of yourself away from the world, and you need to hear that the quirky, different, fun, eccentric parts of you are the ones that people want to see. Those are the ones that make a change, that inspire, that really give you character and personality and make people remember you in the best possible way. So know here in the Cosmic Rebellion that it's so important that you don't stay closeted or caged for your entire life, no matter what that means to you, right? Whether that is who you love, whether that is the job you want to do, whether that is how you want to dress, talk, act. Do know here that it's important that you get out of the golden cage, especially if life is just fine the way it is now. It may not seem very tempting to change anything, right? Or to live in your truth more, but you have to be comfortable making yourself a little more uncomfortable. Next up, we've got the encoded footprints. So I want you to know that there are some very interesting things to find out about your ancestors right now and all of the generations that came before you in your lineage. So if you've been thinking of doing one of those little like ancestry tests, try to do it, my beautiful Capricorns. You will find some really amazing revelations. If you've already done something like that, read up on some of your ancestors and some of the things that they have been able to contribute to in this world. Trust me, you will be very surprised at how actually they already had almost like technology in ancient times. They were a lot more sophisticated than we give our ancestors credit for. And that's where I see in the encoded footprints that can really kind of inspire you as well as spiritually elevate you to a new level. Oh yes, enlightenment. That's just what I was receiving as a message for you, my beautiful Capricorns. That can lead you to a moment of enlightenment, to an epiphany, to a moment of personal understanding that, wow, your ancestors were able to do all of this. Surely you can accomplish your goals. Surely the least you can do is live in your truth and make them proud. I see here within purity that as long as you're doing something from a place of pure intent, of wanting nothing but to lead a life that is open, that is free, that inspires others, you will be more supported than you ever thought possible, my beautiful Capricorns. Just try it. I dare you to live more in your truth just for a day. Just do something that you feel like doing without explaining it, without feeling the need to reason. Just do it, and trust me, you will feel so refreshed. In perfect moments, know here that those are the things that you will look back on in your lifetime and you will think, oh, I'm so happy that I was just real in that moment, or I'm so happy that I was just living in my truth. Whether that is to confront someone about something that they did, whether that is just showing up the way you want to show up, with the hairstyle you want to show up with, the clothes, the makeup, whatever it is, all of my beautiful Capricorns, just do it, because that will not only give you confidence, but it will also kind of reaffirm who you are, and it will create healthy boundaries, okay? Nobody should be within this little circle that isn't you. You need some space between who you are, who you identify as, and who society wants you to be, who your friends and your family see you as. That's okay. They can have any kind of image of you that they want to have, but there need to be boundaries. There needs to be space between their opinions and how that affects you and what that does to you in your day-to-day situations, in your day-to-day decision making. That's one thing that I see here within healthy boundaries. Next up, we've got the 10-90 ratio. So you're being reminded that life is really just 10% what happens to you, and 90% of it is how you react to it. Remind yourself of this. Repeat it after me, my beautiful Capricorns. And life is 90% how I react to that. Make sure that you remind yourself of this. I hope that you just repeated it along with me. Leave a little red apple emoji below in the comment section to confirm that you did, and also to let me and others know that you are a Capricorn baby. Next up, one thing that you have to hear before we close off your reading is to take action. Don't be afraid of what taking action means. Don't be afraid of what it may look like, how others may feel about you taking action. Now is your time to shine. Now is your time to get out of confinement and to live in your truth. You know that at the core there is pure intent. You want to do good. So whenever you're accepting of other people who just want to do good, even if they have a different belief system than you have, you are accepting, you're okay with that. Know that other people will extend that same energy to you. Be fearless, be bold, take action, my beautiful Capricorn babies. So this is the second part of your prediction that I've received for you. I love you so much, my gorgeous Capricorn babies. I hope that you enjoyed this reading and that it brought you insight, healing, and support. Let me know below in the comment section. I love to hear from you, and I can't wait to connect with you during one of my upcoming predictions. Hello, all my beautiful Aquarius babies. Welcome to part 2 of your prediction, where we talk all things Aquarius. I hope that you enjoyed part 1 of your reading, but now let's get into everything that you need to hear that is exclusive to this Aquarius placement within your birth chart. So let's see what the divine has as a message for you right now. So we've got I invoke laughter. My beautiful Aquarius babies, you are funnier than you give yourself credit for. You are a comic. You're someone that people love to have around them because you just lighten the energy. You lighten the mood. You lighten the load when it comes to work because you're not always so serious. You're really fun. You're creative. You're rebellious. And you don't just like make jokes but don't live them. Have you ever had like those friends who make jokes about, for example, not studying and instead going out and partying, but they only have straight A's or they only have the best grades, and you know that they're just saying that, they're not actually living it? Well, when Aquarius makes makes jokes about things, they actually live it, they actually do it. You know that those jokes aren't just fictitious. They have probably had some of those wild nights out, or they probably have played some of those pranks on people that they're joking about. And I am forgiving. I can see that one thing that you need to hear is the fact that sometimes you're a little too nice, sometimes you're a little too forgiving, okay, because you're an air sign that isn't super emotional. You sometimes overlook when people are prone to make the same mistake again, or to betray you again, to kind of talk behind your back again, because you want to believe that everyone is as pure as you are, but they're not. So it's important for you to forgive the right people and not everybody, because sometimes you just really need to believe people and who they are, who they say that they are, and believe them the first time, as Maya Angelou says. So next up, we've got I am peaceful. So my beautiful Aquarius babies, surround yourself with people who have that same energy. Leave a little dove emoji below in the comment section to reaffirm just how peaceful all of my beautiful Aquarius babies truly are, and to remind yourself here that being peaceful is really something that also gives you a lot more time in your day-to-day life, because you're not arguing with people, you're not in a situation where there's constantly friction. You are in a space of peace, you're in a space of having fun, of laughing, of cracking jokes. So this definitely allows you to lead a life that feels a lot longer than someone who is constantly tense and constantly anxious. I see here within multiple streams that something that you need to hear is that it's important for you to create a safety net for yourself. So whether that is looking into different insurances, looking into different streams of revenue when it comes to your finances, different types of investments that you can make, I definitely see here within multiple streams that the universe, your guides, your angels want to encourage you to learn more about it, to educate yourself, and to become very literate. Because in Know Your Worth, it's important that you don't just know your worth as in self-love, self-confidence, but also know your worth enough to look into these different areas of life and set yourself up for the future, for the long haul. We're not always going to be the same age that we are now. We're going to age, things are going to change, we're going to get older. So in Know Your Worth, it's important for you to set yourself up for that time. It's important for you to know your worth as in understanding the value of peace once you're in your 50s, your 60s, your 70s, your 80s. I mean, who knows? The generation that's watching my videos now might just, get over 100 years old on average. So it's important that you set yourself up now for success, take care of your body, and also be open to receiving advice, especially advice from people who you see have done things that you are proud of, or that you think, yeah, okay, this is really cool. I think it's really cool that they accomplished this, or that they did this. That's where I see and be open to receiving, that you can receive the most valuable information from other people, and also be open to receiving in the form of podcasts and books, especially books, because some people, they compound things that they've learned over decades into a book, right? And those are some lessons that are so invaluable that you can really avoid a lot of mistakes if you just learn from others and learn from the wisdom and the knowledge that others have been so gracefully wanting to share with you. Next up, we've got relaxation. My gorgeous Aquarius babies, you also need to take some time to chill. Take a chill pill, because sometimes you have no chill. I've got Aquariuses in my life, and you guys, you do not know how to relax. I mean, not to call you out or to be rude or anything, but just leaning back, reading a little book, just a day of nothing. Just try it. I know it's challenging, but it can be very rejuvenating. It can really allow you to see things from a different perspective. And relaxation is important for every sign of the zodiac. It can also encourage new beginnings, right? A fresh start, so you don't constantly feel as though you're just running in the same circle and constantly just repeating the same patterns. Sometimes in order to break patterns, to break unhealthy habits, to just get out of a situation of stagnation or a rut, you just have to learn to relax and to chill a little bit more. I see here within the nasturtium that won't take away from your personal victories or your professional ones either. So if you're afraid, if you've got FOMO, okay, fear of missing out, that's what FOMO stands for. If that's something that you suffer from, if you have self-diagnosed yourself with FOMO, do know here that there is a cure for it. And that cure is to just have faith, is to just believe that you are worthy of the relaxation, and it's not going to take away from the successes that you can have, that it will actually add. And my beautiful Aquarius babies, I know it isn't easy. For me, it's really hard to start the day, jump roping, meditating, showering, taking care of myself, reading before I even do any work. But I have to remind myself, look, I will still be victorious even when I take time for myself to relax, to put myself first, because actually what I'm able to put out is going to be of so much more value than if I just straight pour into everybody else's cup rather than my own. But I had to learn that. This has been a revelation, a personal revelation, a new beginning. I see here within the stock that the more you actually take time for balance, the more you will be able to focus, because your mind will be sharp whenever you have prepared for work, right? If leading up to work is working out, is reading, is doing your morning routine, then you are really ready for work. But if you just tumble out of your bed and straight onto your laptop, doing your home office or whatever, you did not prepare to focus. So of course your mind is going to be wandering. The quality of your work is going to be compromised, and you're most likely not going to get as much done as had you just focused for a little bit rather than try to do everything immediately at once. So give yourself time to really zoom in on what it is that you want and then go for it. Be focused on that and prep for it through relaxation, as unconventional and weird as it sounds. But sometimes just stillness, just doing nothing, just meditating is the best thing that you can do in moments where there's too much going on. So all of my beautiful Aquarius babies, I hope that you enjoyed this reading and you left the dove emoji below in the comment section. I love you guys so, so much. Thank you for being here and for spending this divine time and space with me. And I can't wait to connect with you during one of my upcoming predictions. Hello, all of my gorgeous Pisces babies, and welcome to the second part of your reading. I'm so excited to talk all things Pisces. I hope that part one resonated with you and that you got to receive a lot of amazing messages that you needed to hear. But now I want to talk all things Pisces, all things our favorite water sign. So first up, we've got I converse with awareness. My beautiful Pisces babies, you are a very connected, psychic, and aware sign of the zodiac. And whenever you speak, people listen. And that's most likely also because you don't just speak to speak. When you say things, it comes from a place of awareness. It comes from a place of self-reflection and also from a place of deep thought. I see here within I am open to love in various forms that you're being asked to be open to new people coming into your life. Maybe you're more of a loner, you're more of an introvert, or you're a little closed off, and you've been burnt and bruised before in relationships. So it can be hard for you to be open to more forms of love or just new people coming into your life. But your guides are asking you to be a little open-minded, because there's most likely someone who's about to step into the vicinity that you would benefit from being friends with or being partners with. Within I spread joy, my gorgeous Pisces. People love to have you around because you spread good energy. You're literally like a good energy distribution center. And I do see here that with your words is how you inspire people, because you choose your words wisely and carefully. You don't just say things that may hurt others, because you know what it's like to be hurt. You know what it's like for people to just say all types of reckless things. So you don't want others to experience that same thing. You're very protective of other people's mental health. And I want you to also turn that protection and that love and respect towards yourself. Next up, we've got the swan. So in case you didn't know this, you need to hear this, my beautiful Pisces. You are more elegant and beautiful than you give yourself credit for. Way more. That's one thing that I see here in the swan, but sometimes it can be hard for you to realize that. Have you ever seen a baby swan? Because they are deemed ugly when they're still babies, right? They are not deemed pretty and beautiful and radiant. But once they turn into a swan, it's like a whole different level. But in my opinion, they were always beautiful. That's just society's perception. But if you, for example, were an ugly duckling growing up, or so to say, an ugly duckling, or people made fun of you, they said that you looked funny, that you were too big, too short, too skinny, whatever it was, it can be hard once you've grown out of that phase to realize who you are now, and, you know, for your mind to kind of go with who you've become, to have your self-confidence grow with how your external plane has grown. And sometimes it takes time for that to catch up, and that's okay. Remind yourself here that you will always be like a phoenix that rises from the ashes. No matter how many times people try to kick you down or try to keep you down, you are getting back up, because you know that as long as you're still breathing, the universe isn't done with you, okay? God isn't done with you. No matter what it is that you believe in, you're not finished, and you're not going to stop until you win, my beautiful Pisces babies. We will not allow it. Say it with me. I will not stop until I win. Let's say it again. I will not stop until I win. Leave that little affirmation below in the comment section to let me and others know that you're a Pisces and that you were here, that you received this reading with me. So we've got the fox and the dragonfly. I want you to know here in the fox that you're more intelligent than you give yourself credit for as well. You're really great at problem solving. So if you're looking at what to do next in your career, know that the best thing you can do and the most success that you can garner is really if you're in a position of solving people's problems and of creating some sort of solution for people's need that they have. The dragonfly also shows me here that you can be like a fly on a wall in a lot of different situations where people don't even realize that you're there and you're listening and you're taking note. And this is a really great trait of yours because you have a very non-intimidating kind of vibe about you that can serve you in so many ways, especially in business. I see here within the waves crash and the stars fall that you've got so much within you that you have yet to discover in connectivity to the swan. It's important that you repeat affirmations every day that reinforce the fact that you are beautiful, that you are worthy, and that you're so capable. I see here within the solar plexus energy that standing in your light is something you're being called to do at this point, my beautiful Pisces baby. Enough excuses, enough telling yourself, oh, I'm not that pretty or I'm not that important. You do matter. You are important. And it's important that you start to realize that, because if you're not expressing that, if you're not endorsing that, then it will be hard for anyone else to do it, because they can just tell that energetically you're not in the space to be praised. You're not in the space to soar. So allow yourself to stand in your light. Allow yourself to take up space. Don't make yourself smaller. Next up, we've got 0 F's given. My gorgeous Pisces babies, your guides in the universe, everything is really speaking in a very clear, concise language in this reading today. In 0 F's given, it just becomes very clear that if you're overthinking whether someone will think of you as, you know, less humble, if someone will think anything of you when you're just leaning into your light, when you're just being yourself, when you're just embracing yourself, give 0 F's. Who cares whether anyone likes it or not? Who cares whether that makes someone else uncomfortable? You've got one life to live. Allow yourself to just not only spread joy for others, but also to really allow yourself to give yourself credit for who you've become, who you're still becoming, and the fact that no matter what happened, you're still standing. You've been through tough times, but you're still here. You're still standing. You're still taking steps forward. Give 0 F's about anyone who has something to say that never walked even 5 steps in your shoes, my beautiful Pisces babies. You do not need any type of unsolicited advice from anyone at this point in time. I see here within a 10-90 ratio that life is really 10% of what happens to you, 90% of how you react to it. And this is something that you are understanding and embracing more and more. And you're realizing that sometimes these things that we make out to be huge issues, it's actually just really small fry. It's actually not that important. And that's what I see here in the 10-90 ratio, that you are learning to embrace the fact that often we blow things out of proportion and we don't see the big picture. We don't see how fortunate that we are, and that there will always be a little bit of friction. There will always be things that don't go fantastically well, because that is just life as a human being on this planet. And that shouldn't take away from any of the moments in which you're able to celebrate yourself and celebrate your existence. So remember, life really is 10% of what happens to you and 90% of what you do with it. So all of my beautiful Pisces babies, this is the reading reading that I received for you. I hope that you enjoyed it and that you found it insightful. Let me know below in the comment section. I love you all so, so much. I want nothing but the best for you, and I can't wait to connect with you during one of my upcoming predictions.